Hi and welcome along to Goal Line Gossip. This is the Jishmaester representing Arsenal, and we have a terrific show lined up for you guys here today on the Fallout Show. We have iToonmag representing the high-flying Newcastle United today. They won 6-1 against the Tottenham Hotspurs. We also have SMG, first-time representation of Chelsea FC, and we have a lot to dissect on the show. We'll also be joined by others, eventually over the show, and we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. We're going to get started from the get-go with the fallout on the Newcastle and Tottenham show. So the first thing we literally saw was that Newcastle annihilated Tottenham within 20 minutes. So I'm going to take this question first to iToonmag. How are you feeling? I don't think you've probably experienced such euphoria ever. Maybe when Alan Shearer was there back in the 90s, early 90s and all, but not in the last couple of decades for sure. How are you feeling? Talk to me, iToonmag.
Amazing. Just amazing. There is no word that can describe this match. We are sorry for the Tottenham Spurs, nothing to do, but this is something beyond our imagination. See, St. James's Park today for Tottenham is not a playground. It was a slaughterhouse, and we ripped them apart piece by piece, part by part. And
Yep.
the problem was, Tottenham tried a new formation with four at the back, and they chose the wrong team to
Experiment
do the
against.
experiment. Yes. If given the circumstances, if it has been Southampton, Bournemouth, or even Leicester, it could have been gone their way probably. But the last match against Newcastle, a 0-3 humiliation against Aston Villa, it actually bruised our ego. So, and Tottenham Hotspur paid the price for it. I'm
Exactly.
totally gonna be honest about it, but there is nothing I can say about it. The way we played today, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to take this question to our newest member here, SMG. Uh, how did you feel about the game against Tottenham at St. James's earlier today in the morning? You're on mute. You got to unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
So the game was unbelievable. I never thought I think it would. I thought it would go to 8-1 or 9-1 something because
yeah.
20 minutes if you score 5 goals, then it's. I think Tottenham just came back a little better in the second half. So yeah, unbelievable. Never thought Newcastle would do something like this. So.
Of course. They're the real deal. They're absolutely the real deal. I mean, in our preview show, that was posted on YouTube a couple of days back. We were discussing this, and I had an argument with Hotspur Rebu that there's absolutely no way that Tottenham is going to St. James's Park and getting a result. With that shambolic defense, there was no way that it was going to get a result. And Newcastle, it was a blip. Unai Emery masterclass. You got to sometimes give up. You put your hands up and say hey, the better team won. At Villa Park, they were the better team. You just sometimes you got to accept who the better team is on the day. Anything can happen in the Premier League on any given day, right? But Newcastle in general, all around the season, have been consistent defensively. Their attack kind of had a dip, right after the World Cup a bit. They were not scoring as many goals, but look at them. Lo and behold, for the past 4 or 5 game weeks, they've gotten back their shooting boots, and they've been phenomenal. Now, speaking about Spurs and how they were destroyed, their manager less well. They have a temporary, Stellini is a temporary caretaker manager right now, but they need to be finding somebody fast come the end of the season for the next season, so they can have enough time to prepare for the preseason. This one man who has recently rejected your club, SMG, Julian Nagelsmann, he is reportedly heading to Tottenham Hotspurs, as reported potentially by Fabrizio Romano. What do you have to say about this? Do you see this happening, and do you think this is going to be a good appointment?
Personally, I feel like I don't want any coach like Nagelsmann who is or Graham Potter. I think they all fall in the
I
same
think there is some
category.
technical difficulties from SMG's end.
Yeah. Listen, SMG, we're going to be talking Chelsea in a bit. Right now, we're focusing on Tottenham Hotspurs. I want to take your opinion. Do you feel Julian would be a good appointment at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Personally feel, yeah, definitely it might be just be a good appointment because Tottenham are used to play, with coaches who are pretty young, and they also have previously Andres Villas-Boas. So I think,
Hmm.
but with Chelsea, I think I didn't see like Nagelsmann would be a good fit for them.
Right, right, right. Now Nagelsmann, I just saw a statistic that he was let go by Bayern Munich quite ruthlessly, and in his 37 game tenure this season, he lost 3 games. And Thomas Tuchel, in the past 7 games, he has lost 3 games. So I don't know what Bayern Munich were, smoking up there, but I think they kind of got it wrong. They had, you know, a gem of a manager in their hands, somebody that is going to only, shine brighter as soon as it, as long as he gains more experience at quality clubs. Now, I don't know whether Tottenham is going to be that quality club that is going to be able to provide him with that platform. Now, iToonmag, first of all, do you see this appointment happening? What do you think? What are the realistic chances of Nagelsmann at Spurs, and if at all, do you see him changing the fortunes of this club that has not won a trophy for so long, and remaining in obscurity?
I believe this is gonna happen, but how it's gonna transformation, I'm not very much sure because I believe they should go for a revamp in their defense.
Hmm.
They have a good midfield and forward line, I could say, but their defense has been horrible. Apart from Sergio Romero, who has a nightmare today, but I believe they should be changing the back line as well as the goalkeeper. Loris is someone probably past his prime,
Of
but
course.
yeah, I mean, given his Nagelsmann history and his coaching capabilities, I believe if Spurs management don't do another mistake, he will flourish at Tottenham Hotspur, of course.
Now, Julian Nagelsmann likes to play attacking football. I mean, we already know that. Whether it's his days from, um, he was in Leipzig, right? Or was it?
Yes,
Yeah, he was in Leipzig, right? Whether it's days from Leipzig, where he kind of unearthed Timo Werner. I mean, we know what happened once he came to the Premier League, but he was phenomenal at Leipzig in his original stint. Um, whereas Tottenham has kind of played with pragmatic managers over the past, you know, 3.5 seasons, whether it's Nuno Espirito Santo or Jose Mourinho. Since Pochettino left, Conte,
yes.
these are all pragmatic, defense-minded managers. Do you see this transitioning going well, and especially considering that this team has gone through a transformation of recruitment and man management for the past 3 seasons for players that would fit a pragmatic system as opposed to a Nagelsmann? Don't you think it would take at least a couple of seasons, 2 summers at least, to have an overhaul and get the kind of players that Nagelsmann would be able to play with?
I think they already have few players in their hand who can play very counter-attacking. We have Pedro Porro, they have Perisic, they have Kane, Kulusevski, Højbjerg, Danjuma. They already have the players who can play counter-attacking and they can rightly fit the way Nagelsmann wants them to play. And yes,
But
I believe
sorry to interrupt though, Aitun Mag. Nagelsmann is not somebody who's big into counter-attacking football. He is somebody that wants to play on the front foot. He's somebody who wants to press from the front, and he likes to keep possession. That's the kind of football he plays.
he
He
already
attacks the
have
pass.
they already have the attacking minded player. All of them player I mentioned, they are already attacking minded. That's why they are going to four at the back to three at the back with two wing backs because they wanted to be a more attacking team. And
Right.
they played really well after 22nd or 23rd minute after they removed that Sar and bring Davidson Sanchez. They at least played better than the way are playing in the first 22nd minute. So if Nagelsmann came and he bring new in the new window, they bring few more attackers or attacking minded players. I believe they can do really well. I mean, Spurs is not a bad club, I would say, but their management been horrible. I always from the first day I always mention that. Uh, I can see it may take a year maybe an entire season to transform them, but If they can keep their belief on the new manager, be it Nagelsmann or be it anybody, uh, if they have an attacking mind set of players, they can do well. But I'm not sure about Kane will be staying because heavily linked with Manu and PSG, and I believe he's due to leave end of the season.
Right. No, no, you're absolutely on point with the Harry Kane comment, but I would like to disagree with you in terms of having the players on hand to tackle a project like Nagelsmann in terms of Tottenham. Just because I don't think they have a lot of players that are fantastic on the ball. They're not players that are very comfortable, staying in possession, being pressed hard, and being able to pass the ball from the back. I think the defense, their fullbacks, um, and their midfielders, except for probably Rodrigo Bentancur. I don't think they have lots of players that are amazing in keeping possession. Right. We also have Kloppite here joining us, so I'm going to add him to the stream here. Um,
Hi everyone.
Hey, hey. So yeah, we're just right now talking about Julian Nagelsmann to Tottenham Hotspurs, and then yeah, I was gonna pass on this question to SMG to take his opinion. Do you think they have SMG? Do you think they have the right resources and tools for Nagelsmann to come and succeed at that club? The right kind of players?
Personally, I don't think so, because if
Mhm.
Kane leaves, which is very rightly so, he should leave. I think it's
He should.
been long due. He's been very loyal, I think.
Mhm.
But yeah, with Nagelsmann, I think the kind of football he plays, I don't think Tottenham have that resource. So
Mhm.
they will need to buy players for sure, like more kind of his players, like
Mhm.
probably some players from Bayern. So for sure. So or like,
Right.
so he would bring all those probably entities, then it might just work, because the way Tottenham is playing right now. And yes, I think as Newcastle mentioned, like, having a defense is the first key. I think when Conte was also here, there were a bunch of attacking players, but a good defender is what Tottenham been missing for a very very long time. So that's for sure.
Right. When you're talking about defenders, their fullbacks, in my opinion, they're dire. Well, not Eric Dyer, but Eric Dyer is dire as well.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of wordplay there, but the fullbacks, Emerson Royale and
Pedro Porro. I saw
Pet,
he
Pet,
was horrible
Pet,
today.
Pedro Porro, yes, and these players, I don't think they're very comfortable on the ball.
Right.
Whereas Nagelsmann had a very good relationship with I mean, he brought in Mazraoui, and he was heavily favoring my fellow Canadian Alfonso Davies, and these guys are kind of out of favor under Tuchel. It seems like Joao Cancelo is um, is is definitely the first choice left back right now under Tuchel. So we might be seeing those some of those players heading to Tottenham Hotspurs. But I'm gonna add Fravasi, a resident Manchester City fan, to the stream as well. And then I'm going to take the same question to the Kloppite. Um, Kloppite, what do you think? Do you think Julian Nagelsmann to Tottenham is hoax or is this potential reality? And how do you see this panning out?
I don't think Nagelsmann would like to join Spurs. It'll be like foolish for him to join Spurs right now.
I mean,
I think,
Fabrizio's reporting that they're pretty close. I
yeah,
mean,
I know, I've seen, but
yeah.
uh, Spurs have no depth. I think they have no depth at all. Like, and the squad is entirely vanished what they had.
Hmm.
The midfield looks even worse than Liverpool's midfield right now. I don't know
That's
how
true.
they and how much money they can pump in every year. They probably Liverpool are saying they have like a 200 million like balance, but Liverpool have not been spending for a long time. But Spurs do spend like every season they spend about 50 million or 35 million, 40 million. They keep on adding, but those players never work out for them. So I don't know how they need like 7, 10 players maybe
Yeah,
to even
100%.
get back to top four. I don't know how
Mhm.
Nagelsmann can function without a budget.
Absolutely. You're right. Now, for Vasi, for you, probably you don't care about, minnows and these teams lying way beyond your reach. But what is your opinion? Do you feel even a single ounce of fear over the next 2, 3 seasons if Nagelsmann joins Tottenham Hotspurs, or you're indifferent? You don't care. Uh, you gotta. You're inaudible.
Unmute yourself.
He is unmuted. Firvaz, did you want to just reconnect, disconnect and reconnect?
There's no sound actually.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Listen, I'm gonna move on to the next topic here, and it's not really a big celebration, but I take pride in this. It used to be a ritual for us, a regular academic ritual for years and years. Couple of decades. I don't remember. Before Unai Emery joined us, we used to celebrate St. Totteringham's Day within the last 2-3 game weeks. At least 4 or 5 games to still go. And it seems like we have done this season again with 6 games to play. Should have been 7, I think, with the West Ham game. But iToonmag, how do you feel about St. Totteringham's Day coming back to the Emirates? We're celebrating it after 6 long years. Is this the change, or is this just a one-season blip from Tottenham?
It's really difficult to say. I think it's a one season change probably from their side.
So you see them
I don't have.
finishing over Arsenal again come next season?
I believe so. I believe if given chances to new manager and they really understand that they need to invest in that team, I think they should be. Yes,
Listen,
they have.
you got to check whether you're sitting on a chair or you're sitting on a cloud. I don't think that's possible. That is not
Yeah,
possible.
I think they need a lot of players. How can they manage so many players in one window? Not
And we're going to
possible.
improve too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see them, maybe.
But I always have a high hope for Spurs. Actually, I do believe they are supposed to come back. I mean, they've been horrible. I agree, but I think from next season they will fight back.
I wish we had Hotspur Rebu here, and I would like to, I would like to put it in his face and celebrate St.
yeah.
Tottenham.
What would his opinion be? I don't know. Like, I don't think he's even optimistic
No,
about
listen,
versus.
his only solace is in the fact that he wants Arsenal to not win the league, because if Arsenal win the league, Tottenham fans are going to be in hiding, in hibernation for longer than a polar bear in Canada in summers. But we're gonna ask SMG this question. Um, you guys have been been the best club in London for, I would say, a decent period of time, over the past decade or a couple of decades for sure. However, this part of North London, we celebrate this with I wouldn't say a lot of fervor, but for sure we celebrate with a lot of banter in ourselves. How do you feel? Is this gonna stay on, or are we gonna go back to default for the past six years and finish beneath Tottenham come next season?
No. I personally feel Arsenal is always going to finish above Tottenham, at least because the situation they are in. And I think the most important part is the age group of the player and who have been playing so good for such a long time. And it's initially even I thought like this is just a Leicester City season which Arsenal is going through. But yeah, they have lost the momentum a bit. But
Mhm.
comeback against Southampton was, with that mentality coming back, I think that shows bit of champion stuff. So yeah, I think Arsenal is going to be on top four at least, coming 2-3 seasons, and unless anybody of this core group of Saka, Odegaard, or anybody leaves for some bigger club or something, that's going to stay.
Yeah, I don't think these players are going anywhere. But
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 I
maybe,
think,
oh,
but I
maybe
think there are other clubs looking at the Arsenal space right now. Clubs
yeah. I
like
mean, a call from Real Madrid or a call from Barcelona.
yeah,
I think
Hmm.
players like Martinelli would always fancy, clubs like Barcelona to go, or Real Madrid anywhere.
But Barcelona doesn't have the money. That is also a problem.
Correct.
that's okay. It could be Bayern, it could be PSG
Yeah,
with a
PSG.
huge amount of money. Even I believe Liverpool can lure a couple of players as well.
mhm.
I
Now,
don't think from Arsenal they'll get any players because not that Arsenal players are really good, but I don't think Arsenal will sell to us, and I think it's be a lot of money. So that's not happening.
of course, of course. Now, the team that absolutely annihilated Tottenham earlier today, we're going to be talking about Newcastle United. Um, First of all, I saw an article that Eddie Howe has approximately 13 players to get rid of come the end of season, and I didn't even know there was some of the. You guys have like 5 goalkeepers. I know some of them are out on loan or something, but
Yes.
you guys have a lot of players to get rid of, and with that comes budget clearance, right? That makes way for a lot of wage bills that can be added on, or you can offer higher wages to players like Bruno Guimaraes or Joe Linton to fend off interest from other big clubs. Um, what do you think is going to be happening this summer? What kind of a transfer war chest will your owners be giving you guys, and who do you think, what kind of players are going to be coming in?
See, this is too early to say about the player's name because there are a lot of, since we have a very wealthy owner, there are a lot of names getting tied to us.
Circulating.
But yeah, so what I heard about, it's also a rumor, we are not sure. It's around 300 to 350 million could be our budget
Pounds?
this.
Pounds?
Yes,
Oh
because
wow.
because the only thing Mike Ashley did good to us, he didn't put the club in debt, and that's the biggest achievement he did for our club, and that's why we are clear of FFP, and we have that much of amount. Yes, we have few players to exclude, like Ryan Fraser probably leaving, Leslie's Jamal Leslie's could be leaving, Paul Dummett could be leaving, Matt Ritchie could be leaving. There are a lot of players. We have, like you said, 4 or 5 goalkeepers. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
we
But
have
there's other players. There's
Darlow,
other players. There's
Darlow, Woodman, Gillespie. We
the
have
other
Yeah,
Longstaff brother. The other Longstaff brother.
uh,
Matty
yeah,
and
Matt Longstaff already in loan, but I'm not sure Newcastle will be
Yeah, yeah.
renewing his
You
contract
guys, you
anymore.
guys have a lot of players on out on loan, like a lot of
Yes,
goalkeepers and all
they,
that.
they,
But I'm
they have.
adding all of them. That we might see
Yeah,
departures. Yeah.
so it may not be 13 players, it could be 7, 8 players I could see, because 13 players is, it makes a huge void kind of thing. So even if it's not a 13 players, either 7, 8 players, we can add really good players and we can add the budget to our current players to keep them, I mean, just to keep them safe from the other big clubs.
Hmm.
So the names majorly which are getting already, we have left back discussion with Tierney. We have there is one guy from probably Real Sociedad midfielder. I forgot his name.
Hmm.
Moussa Diaby, probably a good name who might
sorry.
add to our club. Yeah, and let's see. I mean, there are a couple of names as well. Someone mistakenly add Harry Maguire at the center back, pairing with Botman. That was a
Harry
very,
Maguire. Yeah.
so no, I mean that's not realistically happening. But yeah, I mean it's there is one more name which we pursued before he joined to PSG, Hugo Etiquette. So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
he got released
Equitic.
from PSG, but due to, I mean, I don't think that is going to happen because he has an attitude problem. He always, moans, and he has this type of mentality. If not given a good game time, game opportunities, he goes in, speaks against the club and the management. That sort of players probably we are not pursuing anymore because we want to build a, already our dressing room in molded
It's
in
pretty.
such a way we are
Yeah, yeah.
not going to add some players who
Disrupt
can be a spoil.
the
Yeah,
mentality for sure, for sure.
yeah.
Now you guys
But
are also heavily linked with Ndika from Eintracht Frankfurt, right?
that I
Yeah, even
heard
Liverpool is linked
that's
with
a
him
reason.
also.
And
Yeah,
there
Liverpool
is
wanted him.
another major name which Arsenal and Newcastle both are going for it. That's the Declan Rice probably. That
Oh
for
yeah,
90
Declan
million.
Rice is our number one priority target.
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about how Declan Rice
I have
kind
a
of.
question for iToonmag. What happens to Alex and Maximum? What happens to him?
He's injured. He's injured. He's a
So,
hamstring injury.
But he has a
So
future at St James's, right? He has a future.
uh, does he?
yeah,
That's
I
the
mean,
question.
after coming from his previous injury, we saw how
That's true.
Alan Maximin transformed his game. He's no longer that solo player that used to play in Steve Bruce era. He is now more of a creative player, looking for giving passes, crosses. I mean, he barely used to cross in the time of Steve Bruce, but right now he does that. He already got assist for that. So I think we are not going to leave Alan Maximin right away.
Hmm.
So since I mean, with Fraser will be going for sure. Murphy, we are not sure what will happen. So
He
Valentin,
scored one of the best goals today.
I know that I know he scored a
He's a
brace, but
workhorse. He's a great team player.
Oh,
He's always
he's a
but
great team player. I think he'll stay.
he's a great
but
squad
we
player.
don't know. Yeah, he's a great squad player. That I always agree.
He's not looking for
But
anything
again,
more anyway. Like he's happy to be, of help from the squad for sure.
yeah,
But
I mean,
there's two
see,
players
if
that are being heavily linked, iToonmag, and I'm going to let you speak about them. João Felix and Mason Mount. It seems like Atletico Madrid has identified Newcastle United as potential suitors because they're still expecting 100 million for this guy, and I don't think after the stint that he has had at Stamford Bridge, he's going to be thinking about extending his loan or making it permanent. Um, what do you think, iToonmag? Do you think this is going to happen? Mason Mount and João Felix.
if you ask me personally, I would prefer Mason Mount over Joe Felix any day.
Okay, okay.
So
But do you
Mount
see
is
this
a
happening
player.
though?
Could be, could be because there is a chances. There are a couple of names in that position, not just Joao Felix and Mason Mount. We have James Ward-Prowse from Southampton. We have Madison from Leicester. So there are a lot of contenders. So Mount could be a possibility because Chelsea surely gonna
But I
let
think
go of
Mount
him.
is in further talks with Liverpool more. Than I think that's
That, that,
more
that, that,
advanced. If he does leave, I think
that
it's Liverpool.
could be possible. But we have other players in that position as well,
Yeah,
who may come, like Madison,
Who
like I mentioned.
I want to
Madison is a real possibility. I think. Yeah, that's a great
listen.
choice.
I'm completely aware that he's a Newcastle fan and Klopp, you're a Liverpool fan. You guys are gonna tear each other apart for Mason Mount. But I want to ask the current club that he is playing with, SMG. Would you like to see the back of Mason Mount's jersey, or would you like to see him stay on? He's a boyhood Chelsea fan and an academy product. How do you feel about it?
Uh, it's a very difficult question because I think he started off a season where Chelsea had a transfer ban and he just played one season that was a dream season. But yeah, I think for the last 7-8 months, the way Mason Mount has played, I don't think Chelsea would be happy to let him go for sure, and not just him. I think along with 5-6 players for sure, and I think that because we just have too many players in his position. So I
Mhm.
mean, I think Sterling is one and Mason Mount is the other one, which I personally feel like enough of Chelsea. I think they should go to some other club and play. So yeah, but considering
Sterling has
Mount
a big
is
contract. Sterling has a big contract, and then we'll be talking Chelsea in a bit.
yeah.
Coming up next. But yeah, I'm going to ask Fravasi. We haven't been able to speak because of connection issues.
Yeah.
Are we all audible, Fravasi?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Absolutely, you are. You are live,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we want you to talk about João Felix and Mason Mount. Do you think they should be, heading to St James's Park? And yeah, all in all, what are your thoughts?
No, I don't. I feel that Mason Mount shall continue next season with Chelsea. I don't feel he's moving in the next season. As far as
No,
Joao
why do you
Felix
say
is
so?
concerned,
Why do you say so?
I,
All the
I say so
reports are
because
contrary to
you
you.
see Chelsea in this season. Chelsea has already changed three managers in this season, right? So I think with a new manager, he perhaps will perform much better in the next season. That the
Mhm.
Chelsea board has to take into consideration that who they are going to choose. And I think once that is settled, the managerial issues, I think the players will perform from for itself.
Interesting take. So you think Mason Mount staying put? Now, what about João Felix? Do you think he's going to come
I
back
don't
to?
think Chelsea will retain the player. I think he
Right,
is
right,
going back
right.
to the.
Yeah, he's going to
I
go
think
back
he's
to
going back to Italy.
Atleti. He's
Yeah,
going to go back
yeah.
to Atleti, but he doesn't have a future under Simeone either. So where do you see him landing? There's heavy links with Newcastle United being
Uh,
because his price tag is very high, right?
what is Atletico Madrid is asking for? He's
100
asking for
million,
100 million, right?
100 million,
I don't think any club is going to pay for that. I don't think so.
But
So
if there's
yeah,
one
until
team
and
that can
unless the
potentially,
price, yeah, until and unless the asking price drops, I feel he's going back to Atletico Madrid for sure.
okay, that's good to know. Now,
We are we are ready to pay 100 million for Mbappe probably, but not for Joao.
Yeah,
Mbappe is not going to come for 100 million, brother. I'm
100
really
million.
sorry. Hun- for 100 million, you get Mikhailo Mudryk. That's what you get. But now we're going to talk about
Handsome.
Chelsea transfers. Over the past two transfer windows, I believe. Yeah, two transfer windows. We have seen Todd Bowley spend 500 million pounds. He has somewhat become the butt of the joke in England when it comes to transfers. And he recently, I think he stepped down from the role of sporting director. Come on, this guy is a is a, is an investor. What is he doing? He's never ever had held any management role in European sports, let alone football. Let alone football, he's never held any designated position in European sports. He knows nothing about European sports. How do we how does he put himself in a position where he's the sporting director? That's one of the top three most important positions at a football club, right? And he was the sporting director. He has seen an outlay of 500 million pounds on a bunch of players with no credible improvement. SMG, I'm going to ask this question. I've been burning to ask you this question. I know that you've been traveling, so we couldn't get you on the show. But now that you're here, finally, I want to ask you this question. What do you feel about this crazy spending spree? And do you see any light at the end of the tunnel for all of the spending?
Well,
The
actually,
only question is why?
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 Yes, why? That's
Why?
the question. Why?
Just one word. Why?
Exactly.
so I personally felt the same way like Drogba felt over the weekend. So I can relate to this club a lot. But yeah, jokes apart, yeah, I think he just had this idea like the way he runs his other football other clubs in America, he would just do the same, like spend money and you will get the result. But obviously, I think it just took some time to realize, and that's why changes. But I think I mean, I never thought like they would spend so much on like Enzo and just names coming here
Yeah,
and there,
we
and they're
just
just buying.
completely forgot about Enzo. Like, he was such a good player.
Yeah, no,
So it's
there's tons of players. They've Badia Chile, they bought who is it? Like it's endless players. Mudrik,
Uh,
Cucurella,
I have a
Fofana.
question for SMG. Like, do you even get excited about transfers anymore about Chelsea? Like for us, like clubs, like we just get a player and we are very excited to see. But like Chelsea just buys everyone. So are you? And they don't perform. They're not
correct.
performing
Yeah.
right now.
No,
So do
personally,
you
yeah,
get excited?
manager sacking was not something like different, so I am pretty used to seeing managers getting sacked every two years or so. But the good USP about Chelsea was even after that sacking, they always used to finish top four from last 10 years or so, and they always had managers who come and deliver something or the other, some trophy or the other. But this is the first time after the great Abramovich era got over, this thing started. So I think if Tuchel would have continued, we could have won something, or maybe at least not anything top four for sure. But yeah, with he gone, and then we had bunch of unnecessary transfers happening last season. I mean, starting of the season. So yeah.
Can you tell me? People often talk about Manchester City's financial breach, and I'm going to redirect this question to Pravasi here. They are currently, going through this dispute for sure, with the Premier League, having charged them. But after such an outlay, I get it. They did a lot of things, creative things, giving people 8, 9 year contracts, or contracts till they, I don't know, turned 70 years old or something. But how do you think this is fair to, isn't it hypocritical to judge and question the integrity of Manchester City over the past, not the last 4 years, but before that? And now Chelsea comes up and does things like this. They found financial loopholes or legal loopholes. But what is your take on this, Pravasi?
So difficult to see. You see, eh, the Manchester City, the money that we spent on players, it was for a period of 10 to 15 years, right?
Uh-huh.
It was never a period of a one season or two season that we spent all those money in. So, and we have to take into account one aspect is that Manchester City had to build its squad from afresh, right? Um, eh, Back in 2008 or 9, it was a very old squad, and they had to put in money to build that squad fresh, right? Coming to 2015-16, when Pep took over, he again the management has to put in money to refresh the squad. So, so and moreover, the money that we spent along for the players that was brought back by winning the trophies. If Chelsea wins the trophies in the next few seasons, then all these allegations and all these things will ultimately die down.
But
You see,
would you, as a Manchester City fan, um, revolt against the idea of Chelsea going scot free and spending 250 million pounds I don't know, every window? I think they're going to spend another 250 million this coming summer. That will bring their spending to 750 million pounds or 800 million pounds.
yeah,
And
yes,
would you feel
absolutely, and
it's
that's the
unfair to,
decision of the financial body of the Premier League to decide whether they are doing anything wrong or not.
of course it is.
Similar,
No, Pravasi,
yeah.
you get me wrong. Of course it is the decision of the Premier League regulatory body. But would you, as a Manchester City fan, not feel bad that you have to face this predicament where you're in, and Chelsea with just 9-year contracts get to go scot free?
But I think that rule
Of
has
course, we
changed
feel
right
that.
now, right? That they cannot amortize the cost over 9 years. They have to
When
maximum
did
do it over 5. Yeah, I
when did
think
this
that
rule
I was
change?
reading something. I
No,
think they
no,
just introduced
Has
I
it
it.
there
changed? I don't
that
think
was
the
no,
last
no,
report
no.
that I read,
That is
the
supposed to
amortization principle was still there.
no,
No,
that is
it
supposed
would
to
have
change
happened.
from next season, not from this
Yeah, from
season.
next. Yeah, I'm saying that's what I'm
Oh,
saying. Next season they cannot do it. So that's why Chelsea are
oh,
Yeah,
desperate to sell a lot of players. So they
I
need the
see.
money.
No, all the other
absolutely.
19 clubs, we should, packed up and be like, do not buy Chelsea players. Let them sink down to the depths of, what Barcelona is facing. They cannot even register players. Let them, get to those kind of levels. But the person that is at the helm of Chelsea Football Club right now is a legend of the game, 100%. I want to still know, he was given an opportunity, and I think he reasonably flunked at this role. Um, what sense do you make of this appointment, SMG? Why? Again, another question. Why?
I thought like was I don't know how that decision come, because I think any season would never appoint Lampard, seeing what he has done with Everton and seeing what he has done with Chelsea previously. So I think there was no point. I think you just have a caretaker manager, at least for 7-8 games. I was not even expecting like Chelsea would beat Real Madrid anyway. So there was, I think, just optimistic approach. Like, if Lampard comes, at least we will win the Champions League. Then we will automatically qualify top 4. I think that was the way their management and everybody was thinking. So I think it was just a decision out of no thoughts been applied to it, I would say.
Yeah, it was nonsensical, but he's definitely
I
that's
think I think the body wants to see up this 6 months window, and then will look into the managerial part of that.
Mhm. Do you
But
do you
they're talking with Poch right now, right? Because they want to
Yes,
get him
Yep.
over.
yeah, Pochettino is the favorite for sure, but do you see?
I believe I have an opinion on that. I believe Chelsea fan they absolutely adore Lampard, and right now with the current
Yeah,
situation going, they are
they just want to
furious.
get the fans
So
back on side.
management, yeah,
Mm.
management want to bring one face that fans love. The fans won't criticize much Lampard given the fact he's a homeboy, and also they will like they will of course gonna say this is just interim, so what he can do. Any given manager, be it other than Lampard, they would have like do anything, say anything about that, but it's not gonna happen to Lampard.
But
So management knows that.
isn't that
uh,
affecting Lampard's own managerial career? Because I
I think Lampard is not bothered anymore.
no, no,
Yeah,
no. He bleeds blue. I believe he bleeds blue.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, he
that's the
does.
thing.
He does.
He comes
That's
from
the
an
thing.
era. He comes from an era where it's not possible that he doesn't care. I've seen him in Premier League games and in other competitions. He's a through and through, old school footballer that cares about
and
his team.
and maybe if he can make a difference, like make like some difference, make Chelsea climb up the ladder a bit. He'll get a better job next season at some like like
Mhm.
bottom 10 club.
I
So
think
maybe he's thinking like that.
Yeah, maybe Sheffield United.
Yeah, yeah,
If they
could be.
get promoted, yeah, of course.
So
Um,
Lampard blew that much that he even played for two clubs apart from Chelsea. Also has a blue, blue against Man City.
he
So
scored
Yeah,
against Chelsea.
yes,
Man City
uh, I,
legend.
I I have one question. I have one question regarding Chelsea midfield. Why they keep playing the three defensive-minded midfielder always? Enzo, Kovacic, and Kante. Why not? They have Loftus-Cheek, they have Mount, Havertz, Gallagher. Why don't play them? I mean, they always keep on playing three midfielders, and they are all defensive-minded. And Kante cannot play their natural game because Enzo is there. Is
They
there any
played
thought about
Gallagher in
it?
the last game. They played Gallagher in the last game.
Yeah,
I mean,
they did. They did.
they did, but mostly they start with Kovacic, Enzo, and Kante after Kante is back from injury.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, why? I mean, if you have to perform, you have to be a attacking minded midfield in the summer. So
Right.
what's missing there? What's the thought? Any idea?
I would
I don't know. I asked the same question in our group chat, right? That how the hell they are starting with eight defensive-minded players in against Real Madrid in their home ground. I
no,
mean, I mean, I
the
mean, who does these
world.
decisions? Who does these decisions? And actually, it's when they are 2-0 down, right? They have to attack and they have to score in order to qualify. And then they are starting with eight defensive-minded players. I don't know. It's
Whom
just
there are bunch.
SMG,
Yeah,
SMG. Do you want to move closer to the mic?
yeah, sure. I was probably keeping it my cell phone. Yeah, so like there are a bunch of players in Chelsea squad whom you really can't play because if you play, they are going to hamper the entire game with Sterling, Havertz. These are the players doesn't deserve in playing 11. Not just Chelsea. I don't think any of the Premier League clubs for now because they are so bad, so bad. Especially Sterling, he still thinks that he can dribble past defenders, and every time he goes and back passes, it's been the same story since he joined Chelsea. So that's why they feel, more than the formation, it's just that the player, at least who are in the field, they play well. It doesn't matter because goals are not going to come, or that mentality is not even there. It's near that they can score a goal. So at least have your best playing 11 without the formation. That's the idea. So Kante is a better player compared to others. Then Enzo at least plays better compared to others. That I think that's the psychology or goal behind this.
But what would be your starting 11 for the rest of the season? Obviously teams can change, but what would be your core starting 11 for the rest of the season?
I would say like there is not much option, so still have to go with Havertz, and then probably I would prefer Ben Chilwell any day rather than Cucurella, which is of no use. And then obviously
absolutely.
only player who plays with heart and soul is Reece James. He looks odd one
His
out.
quality.
Yeah, he is
He's
like the odd one out in the Chelsea squad because he is
uh,
the person who plays properly, and just have like the back four with Thiago Silva or Koulibaly. And just get done with
Koulibaly. I
yeah.
think that guy's a clown. Honestly speaking, the amount of footage that this guy got while he was in Napoli, maybe he was really good. Maybe he was. He was. His FIFA cards always had like 89, 88 stats,
Six
and
plus.
I'm like, this guy does not look like he's an 89 rated center back at all. Nothing close. But yeah,
iToonmag loves Koulibaly.
sorry,
Yeah, I think he's a good player. He's a good player.
iToonmag loves Koulibaly.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a FIFA tournament. I probably played the final with Kohli.
Okay, but in real life, do you see what he does? Like
Yeah,
he's standing beside another stalwart of a defender, Thiago Silva, and the difference is huge. The gulf of quality is like freaking comparing the Pacific Ocean with maybe like a small lake in Calcutta. Like the Southern Avenue Lake is being compared to Pacific Ocean. That's how engulfing the difference between Thiago Silva and Koulibaly has been all this season.
but I
So how
believe he played much better when he was at Napoli. He played much better.
he probably did, but this is not Serie A, and well, Serie A
That
has
I
been
agree.
really good this
But
season. They're three, all the top five teams, I believe, advanced into the European competitions. But yeah, Koulibaly, I don't think I don't see how you can defend him just because of a FIFA tournament. Next up, pretty straightforward question: will Chelsea make a comeback next season, and what do we see panning out next season? I'm going to bring this question to SMG at the very end. I'm going to start off with the Kloppite. What do you think?
Mm, hard to call, really hard to call. I don't know. I don't think they will because they will make a comeback. They'll be a fifth or sixth maybe.
Okay,
Or but I think there are four teams better. There will be four teams better than Chelsea, definitely.
but you see that they are not going to be as shambolic, or do you expect a
Yeah, they won't be
transition?
Shamali. If they get Poch, I think he will make a difference. He's not a bad manager. He's a good manager, but he's probably not the complete like a finished product or something. He never got even PSG. He never got them. He lost. They lost the league with him, right? When he was there. I think. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
but 1 second. In terms of managers, Zidane has turned him down. Nagelsmann's turned him down. Um,
Enrique turned them down.
yeah, Luis Enrique turned them down. So who do you think Kloppite will be their manager, and how do you
I
see
think it should
the
be
season panning out
this season, next season, or this
next season?
season?
Yeah, next season. Yeah,
Next season. Okay.
they won't be in
I think
European competitions in all likelihood. So
uh,
keep that in mind. They're gonna have less games. So
I think it'll lot depend on the window. I think Poch will be Chelsea's next manager. So I think depending on what window they get done, that will make a difference. But still, very hard to get into top four, I believe. United will spend. Liverpool will spend. I think Arsenal will be there, and City will of course be there. So
and what about
Chelsea need to just
Newcastle?
improve.
You didn't even take
Yeah,
Newcastle.
Newcastle will be there.
You
Newcastle will
just
be
you
there.
just you just heard from their fan they're going to be spending 350 million pounds on top of that team that destroyed Tottenham today, and put six past them,
Yeah,
5 in 20
yeah,
minutes.
Newcastle. So I think that will be the top six. Then Newcastle, Chelsea, and that's the top six. But Chelsea will have a hard time breaking in because they have a lot of things to clear out, then get fresh players again. Like a total rebuild. Maybe 2 seasons it'll take. So yeah, they'll make a comeback. They'll improve, but not what they expect, what their fans expect. Maybe.
Right. Now, Pravasi, what do you think of Chelsea next season? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
Just build me a
I
story.
think, yeah, top six finish. I don't think top four will be there. What I what I feel is that Chelsea need a striker in their squad, right? They need a proper striker in that squad. They get that, and I will see. I mean, we can see that Sterling, as well as other players, will perform much better if they have a striker, if they have a man present in that box in that region. And the other thing is that Chelsea needs an attacking midfielder. Okay, if they get these two in the next transfer window, then Chelsea will be back. They will be back in their best form.
But Pravasi, buying players has never been Chelsea's problem. Buying the right player has been.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You see,
how do you?
that's what. You see, spending money isn't the solution, right? Spending money on the right guy and not on Twitter hype is the correct approach.
So how do you see Todd Bowley's ownership, correcting their wrongs, and maybe they buy, I don't know, two attacking midfielders and two strikers. How do you know they're going to be the right fit?
That depends on the manager that they're choosing. I think they will be discussing these in the negotiations that they are doing right now. The manager that will be coming in the next season must have the proper control in his team, right? If Boli allows that, then I think there will be no problem. There will be no problem.
I hope so. I hope what you're saying is true for SMG's sake. But I'm going to take this question to SMG now. SMG, why do you think? What makes you feel? And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to say the next line. What makes you feel that Pochettino is going to have free reign over choosing the kind of players that he needs? He needs, because I'll tell you right now. I know people were making fun of Graham Potter, but he did a fantastic job at the Norwegian club. Was he in Norway before?
Sweden.
Sweden, yeah, the Swedish
Sweden.
club. and then at Brighton and
Brighton.
Hove. Yeah, we just erase all his good work. I get it. Roberto De Zerbi has taken over fantastically and made it seem like it was completely seamless. But we cannot ignore that Brighton were playing well earlier this season and before as well. They've built an attacking brand of football, and this team, this right now, this De Zerbi team, is mostly Potter's work of art. So I don't think Potter is the kind of manager that came in and said, "I want Sterling, I want Aubameyang." The kind of signings they've had under Potter, even this winter window, they don't make sense. I think these are mostly Todd Bowley and his own scouting system through maybe Football Manager or maybe FIFA or something.
Twitter
What
hype.
or maybe
Yeah,
built on.
he's just,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
So what makes you think that Pochettino is going to get a chance to build his team? And do you think Chelsea is potentially going to make a comeback? And how do you see the next season panning out for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, couple of corrections. So one is, I think Sterling and Aubameyang came in when Thomas Tuchel was there, so they
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah.
before. So I mean, yeah, looking at the signings, it doesn't really look like Graham Potter made that decision. But I think when Tuchel was sacked, I think no Chelsea fan was happy, and they were not also happy with Graham Potter coming in because Chelsea is not used to see coaches with low profile or low clubs coming in. They always had managers from high profile like Ancelotti, like Conte, and everyone. So this was, I think, one of decision where they were thinking of a long term project, like 6-7 years, like Graham Potter
Mhm.
say, but that didn't turn out. I think it would be a learning. I mean, no person would ever
I mean, do
like.
you think Graham Potter should have been given another season?
No, never. I don't think because it was just going too late. I think if you would have stayed, maybe not that we would have with Lampard we will improve, but I think it was not going anywhere. He was players not playing the way he wanted or what he's communicating. Players are not following something like that was going on. And I think at the end of the day, if you see Todd Bowley also, I mean, nobody would want his or her 500 millions to just go in vain. Ultimately, he will have some accountability somewhere. So maybe Pochettino, at least on the first, get around 5-6 players or so, because I think the first task of Chelsea is to get rid of at least 6-7 players in the squad with I think Hakim Ziyech, then Mason Mount. There are a bunch of players who just needs to leave, and then probably have a trimmed down squad, and then probably Pochettino can come and fit. Look, Pochettino is a good manager, which he showed in Tottenham. Even in Tottenham, he didn't have X amount of resources to spend. He just managed with that team. Probably he would do better with this compared to, because in PSG it was a high profile job. You had just too many stars, and in Chelsea it's, I would say, comparatively a young squad. They don't have that stalwart in their squad. So I think Pochettino would be a good coach, and he has managed in Premier League as well. So overall, hopefully, it's not sure. Hopefully Pochettino comes in, and hopefully, but top four is very difficult with the kind of teams which we have now. It's we are past that era where only about
Forget top four. Do you think you're going to finish in the top 10?
next season.
Oh my
Next season
God.
top six for sure. Next season top six for but
So
yeah.
I have a question. Like, why do you say Havertz or Mason Mount they are supposed to leave or they should be leaving?
Yeah.
They are the players they took you to the Champions League and won it. And
So
how suddenly they become really poor with the
Liabilities.
current set of players you bought in this last two window? They are better than this player. How do you decide that?
no, so better. See, Havertz, when he came in, I think if you see 3 years or 2 years, he just had one good run in complete 2 years. Like there was a stretch where he scored 10 goals in all competition at a stretch. Otherwise, Havertz always been a liability, and I think it's more of a financial decision rather than player being better, because Mason Mount is towards his end of this contract, and you can't all of a sudden ask Mudrik to leave or Enzo to leave because they have just signed a fresh contract, and to have a release fee that would cost around 60-70 million. I think it's more of a financial decision rather than which player is better or what. So
They have a lot of forwards. They bought this other Fofana,
Yeah,
not Wesley Fofana.
Yeah.
yes.
And then there's the other guy who plays with a bandana. What's his name? Um, can you tell
Don't
me the
ask
Oh,
me.
yeah,
I
yeah.
keep on forgetting the names of
Madhu,
honestly.
Madhu,
I
Madueke.
Madu?
Madueke.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Madueke. Yeah, so they have a lot of forwards anyway. So, and
So any
Hakimi.
yeah.
new
What happened to him? I've never heard him. Like, I just forgot he plays for
Yeah,
Chelsea.
yeah.
And there is
Is he-
Nkunku still to come in at the start of the new season.
So I believe any new manager comes first 1 week, he would be spending time to remember the names actually before going into the practice period.
Yeah, that's why before new manager comes in, we have to get rid of 7, 8
I
players.
think they might get Poch in this season also. No? They were speaking that they could get him this season.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe
Then they would like. I think there are hardly 7 games left. I don't think that
yeah,
they him right
yeah,
now.
maybe get him into the system and make him realize who stays next season or who goes.
he can do
And
that from the stands.
Yeah.
And maybe the sporting
maybe
director Todd Bowley can give him a report. Okay, listen.
Chelsea is like difficult to analyze. I think very difficult. You
Yeah,
don't know what's gonna happen.
I think they'll be lucky to finish in the top six. Very lucky if they do next season. Them and Tottenham Hotspurs, I don't see them finishing the top six. The top four for next season, in my opinion, is Newcastle United's. I'm pretty sure they're nailed on. Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal.
Arsenal
That's the top five,
top
actually.
five,
Yeah, that's the
top
top five.
five.
I don't
How
know.
come? How do you think like Manchester United would again finish top 4? Because if you see other teams, they have still young players with Ericsson or
Yeah,
Casemiro. They are not getting
I think
younger.
Manchester United is also a question. Maybe
Yeah,
Ten Hag might not
Yeah,
do
No,
I don't
well.
think
he's
Manchester
not.
United will finish in top four. I
Look
don't
at
think so.
Manchester United with the entire squad. I've seen them play at a very high level this season. They've
yeah,
improved so
because
much.
Rashford is having a dream of a season. So if you just think, Rashford being the old Rashford he was in the last season, and with
Like,
Casemiro leaving the club or Ericsson retiring or
yeah,
anything else,
yeah.
with
But
that,
players don't retire at 32, 33 anymore. Players have
No, no,
longer.
but I think they could just be having a season like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had when he joined, like a good run of games, and then now they have dropped it. I feel,
Well, that's because they've
haven't
lost
they?
a lot of players. They've lost Lisandro Martinez. They don't have Rafael Varane. We'll
Uh-huh.
be talking Manchester United once Saul joins. He's actually right now watching the FA Cup
Yeah,
semi-final.
it's an extra
And
time. It's an
just to
extra
be
time
just to be
in India.
just to be updated, it's 95 minutes and it's draw right now.
It's still
So
nil-nil. That was
first
my
half of
prediction.
extra time
That
is
was my
going on.
prediction. I thought that they was going to go to extra time for sure. But they
But
have.
Brighton are killing them. Brighton are playing much better.
Of course
Brighton
they
is
would.
playing pretty slick game, man,
They
these
have
days.
they have so many
Aston
players out.
Villa and Brighton, they have upgraded so much. Brighton over the years within the I mean with Graham Potter, after Graham Potter and after Emery, this Aston Villa team,
I have
they
one
have
off-topic
Yes.
question. Like I have one off-topic question. I really like this player Mitoma. Do you see him going
Oh,
anywhere?
I
Oh,
would
he's playing
love to
Mitoma,
amazing.
see.
there are a lot of clubs looking for Mitoma right now.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
Newcastle could take him, and he would be
I don't know.
perfect in left wing.
Mitoma. See, we have lots of wingers. We really don't need wingers right away. Maybe sometimes in
But
two
who's your
seasons, but
winger?
not.
Who are you? Almiron? Do you think Almiron is Champions League quality? I don't think he is. I don't know. Even
He's,
Sin
he has
Maximum.
scored. He has scored 11 goals. Speaks
Huh,
for
but he
himself.
had a purple patch. Maybe that's it.
So he today also did one assist probably, or it's a deflection. I don't know which one. So he is performing. The way he's
Listen,
playing, he's performing. So we
Newcastle
have
can buy
Gordon.
anybody and everybody if they want. They
Do you
can.
still want? Do you still want to keep Almiron? That's the thing.
They
Like, and
they
Yeah, we
want.
can. The way he's playing and the way he plays, his work rate, his defensive capabilities, the way he supports this guy, Kieran Trippier, I would really love to play him.
Do you see the confidence and swagger in iToonmag's face? The way he talks about Kylian Mbappe, I'm sure Newcastle United has the money to resurrect Diogo Maradona and make him play for Newcastle United next season. That's the kind of. but,
If we had
but
that magic, we would have done that.
yeah, but jokes apart, jokes apart. We're gonna move on to the next team. Here we're gonna be talking Liverpool and Newcastle United, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspurs. Aston Villa and Brighton, they're all in a dogfight with Liverpool for the top four, 2 spots in the top four. We've kind of had this conversation already in previous videos where we discussed United being pretty nailed on and Newcastle seemingly so, but the fixtures for Liverpool are extremely favorable. I'm going to start off this question with Fravasi. Do you see Liverpool finishing in the top four with the fixtures they've got, and considering the fixtures the other teams have? Newcastle, Brighton, Manchester United, and Tottenham.
Yeah, I
And
think
Villa.
Liverpool will finish in top 4. I feel that.
You think so? Who's going to drop out?
Yeah. I think United will fall off.
Manchester United?
Yeah.
Even they
Oh,
have a
I
good
think United
fixture.
will fall
They
off.
have a good fixture list as well.
I think
Manchester United.
I think they still got to play Chelsea. Okay, Chelsea's a minnow. Okay, they don't really matter.
They have played all the big teams, I think, Manchester United.
Oh, they still have to play.
No, apart from Chelsea. Apart from Chelsea.
They're not a big club, so this season it doesn't really matter. They're worse than Crystal Palace, I would say. So, but I mean, so you think Manchester United is going to fall off and Liverpool's going to?
Yeah, I think so. I feel it.
iToonmag, do you think
Let's see.
it's going to be Newcastle and Manchester United, or do you see Liverpool having, bite of the cherry, or Aston Villa? Do you think Liverpool has an actual chance? Because the way they're playing now again with Jota back and Diaz
the
back.
way
Luis Diaz
Liverpool,
back.
the way Liverpool played this season, I'm not counting on them. They can lose to anybody. With Southampton, even Bournemouth, I don't know who's probably West Ham. West Ham won 4-0 today, so they
Yeah,
can
they're
beat
playing well.
Liverpool.
They're playing well.
Yeah,
They've
so
turned a corner.
so
Yeah.
I don't believe on Liverpool right away because the way they are playing, they know they have something to cover up. They really trying, but I don't have high hopes for Liverpool, but I do have high hopes for Britain instead and Aston Villa. So I don't see them in top four going. Maybe top five. They can come in fifth position. The way Spurs played today, I don't see Spurs going to be a top six even. So it could be top five. In top five, Liverpool may come in the fifth position, but top four it will be difficult. There are gaps, and the way Manu has a slight difficulty in their defense area. Varane and Martinez both are down. I had just heard Varane probably out for 6 weeks. On
Yeah,
Martinez
they're
is
both out for the season.
They're out for the
So
season. Yeah, both out for the season.
so with given their chances, if they do like they did against Sevilla, it's gonna be tough for them as well.
But they're
Despite
going to
even
play. United still have to play Tottenham away. They still have to play Villa. Okay, they have to play Brighton. They have to play West Ham. They have to play Wolves. They have to play Chelsea. They got to play Fulham.
And that's why they will fall off.
Yeah.
it's tough for them as well. I think because they are, I mean, see, Martinez and Varane cover up a lots of points for them, but
Yeah.
without both of them missing, it's little difficult. See, Newcastle also have
Yes.
a tough fixture. I would say Arsenal, Chelsea, Britain.
yeah,
We have a tough fixture.
Mhm.
So it can be anybody, but to be honest, Liverpool, I mean the way they have played so far, maybe they will change their formation, change something, but it's difficult for them. So
Well,
I still believe it could be top four would be Manu, Newcastle, then Liverpool would come, then Britain. Probably Spurs gonna go seventh position could be. The way they played today, I don't see any confidence in them.
how are they going to be seventh if Liverpool, Villa,
yeah.
and
Liverpool finished fifth, and Brighton sixth, maybe Spurs seventh,
and there's Villa. Where does Villa go?
seventh or eighth, maybe I don't know. But
Eighth.
that
Eighth.
is
And they will
maybe eighth.
drift out there.
Unai
But the
Emery's
way they played
statistics
today, I don't know.
since Unai Emery's appointment, they
Yeah, they
have
have so the third
yeah,
most points.
the third most
Second,
points. No,
second, so that is
third.
third,
Arsenal first, Manchester City second, and
third.
Emery third. Now, did you guys watch the match yesterday, Liverpool's game? I'm sure you know Klopp.
No,
I
I
cheated. Yeah, no,
didn't.
I haven't. I haven't.
I watched some bits. Now, Fravasi, what did you think of this game? And do you think that's how it's gonna be for the rest of the season, where it's gonna be outscoring the opponents.
Yeah, I feel like that. You see, they have a problem in the defense. So until and unless they sort it out, it will be like this for this season. So maybe next season they sort this out and they will be in the game next season, right?
Now, I'll take this question to Kloppite. What do you think? Well, give me a little bit of a fallout from yesterday's game and a little bit of your analysis of how the game went, and how do you think this top four race is going to pan out?
I think like Liverpool played well. Like they didn't play bad. Like, it was enjoyable to watch, and there were some moments where, of course, they're I think adapting to how Trent is fitting in midfield right now. So that will take a few games to figure it out. So that's why they're a little short in defense. So I
Who
think
played
they
right
played
back?
well. They,
Who played right
uh-huh.
back? Who played right back yesterday?
I think it was Trent in a right back. He was an inverted right back, and Konate was covering for him at times,
I see. I
and
see.
even Henderson was dropping him. So that's what they're trying to get done. This is their new tactic, which is working, I feel. But we just played Leeds and Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. Just 3 games is not a big enough sample size to judge. But yeah, it was an enjoyable game. Of course, we are vulnerable at the back I think because of this new tactic, we are more vulnerable right now. So I don't know what Liverpool will produce next game, if they will produce or not produce. But I think at home they have they have like 3 games back to back at home. So I think if they can win those three and then keep continuing, if they win all their games, I think they finish top four. But I don't think they will. They left it too late, I feel, for this change to come in.
We've
The
been joined by
Newcastle and
Saul here. I believe he has the game running on the other screen, and it still looks like a stalemate. It's probably going to head to the pens. But we are right now talking about Liverpool's chance of top four race, and just so you know, Fravasi has looked at your fixtures and he thinks that you're going to fall out of the top four and Liverpool's going to replace you. Whereas the statistics say that you
But
have.
does he think that he can win the title?
Well, we are going to talk about the
Oh,
title
absolutely,
just in a bit. We still haven't gotten to that point yet. But he thinks that Manchester United is going to fall out, and it's going to be Newcastle and Liverpool getting the other two spots for the top four. So I'm going to ask you this question: do you see Liverpool having an outside chance with the kind of fixtures they have?
Every time Liverpool wins like a couple of games, we keep having
yeah,
this
exactly.
conversation. It's almost like it's boring
But
at this point.
but one
Let
time they
them,
did get it done. Did get it done.
of
Like they were
course,
like eight
Allison
points
Header.
behind.
Allison Header.
Allison header. They did
Yeah.
get it done.
no, I get it, but I mean they're far off. There are too many
Yeah, yeah.
teams in between, and I think just to be
I think
realistic, let's
the gap is
concentrate on
bigger.
Trent's new midfield position, right? That's
We'll be
like
talking
a
about that
hotter
next.
topic than that.
But I still want to take the perception of all of you guys. So you think they're not finishing in, right, Saul? Top four.
Hell no.
Okay.
Even I don't
SMG.
think so. I don't think so.
Okay. So
But
except for Fravasi.
if they win all their games, I think that's 71 points. It's difficult, but I think 71 points will be enough. But I
It
don't
should
see
be
them winning all.
the typical top four position is secured with scoring more than the higher 60 points. But iToonmag, do you see them finishing the top four?
Yeah, I do. They have a difficult fixture. I believe they. I mean, we're talking about Manu, right?
No, we're talking about Liverpool. Do you see Liverpool
Okay.
finishing
Oh,
top?
Liverpool. No, I don't see them going in top four.
Okay.
There's no way. So I told you it could be position fifth position probably because the way Spurs is, I mean, playing, and I don't see them finishing in top 6, 7 probably. But I
Yeah,
probably
Liverpool
best
fifth.
for
I think Liverpool get fifth. That's what I think. That's fair.
Probably possible. But the player that gives me some hope and maybe Fravasi some hope, and the guy that I think is going to be the next, well, he has been a generational talent, and he is somebody that really splits opinions, whether it's the Liverpool fan base or other fans. I think this guy is going to be the next Philip Lahm, somebody who could play multiple positions. I'm comparing to legend. I know, big boots to
But
fill.
Trent is also a legend. Trent is a legend. I think Trent is already a legend at Liverpool. He's
Well, at
yeah.
Liverpool, but we're talking about football in general. I think
He's young.
he's yet to reach legendary status, but I think he can with this new role change. If he can play in the midfield and control the game with the metronomic passes that he his
But
arsenal
isn't
possesses.
isn't like being the best right back for 4 seasons in a row in the world, like saying that he's a
He,
legend?
he was not the best right back.
He
He
was
was the
the
best.
best right.
He was the
He was
best
always
attacking.
nominated. You don't say that. Like he was nominated as a right back in the Ballon d'Or above anyone else among the
That,
fullbacks for
no,
5 seasons in a
but
row.
but who else was there in the world to
So
compete?
that's the thing. Like if no
He-
one is there,
our
there are
four
good right
seasons,
backs.
4 seasons back,
These
we had Hector Bellerin. So you don't compare Hector Bellerin with Trent. Kyle Walker probably, but he's
Kyle
been
Walker, Reece James.
Reece James has been injured
Reece
most of
James,
the time. He's better than Trent at right back. Trust me, he is.
No,
That's
I
not
don't
even.
think so. The
No, no,
no,
attacking
no.
quality is
defensively,
there. The attacking quality is too
defensively,
much.
no, defensively, Reece James is better than Trent Alexander, but
Yeah, but
Even
overall
on the
the
defense
package,
wise,
flanks, even on
the
the
overall
flanks,
package, the overall package, set
even
pieces, everything.
SMG. Do you have something to say about this?
Yeah, the
Don't you
first
think?
of all, the position's name is right back, so it doesn't have to be a right attacking midfielder or right attacking back. So Trent needs to learn defending. If you can, the position which
But
he
that's modern football. You don't need to defend.
But,
Marcelo never defended, I think. Marcelo
but,
was good, but Marcelo was always forward, always forward.
but SMG, I want you to answer Kloppite in saying that Trent Alexander-Arnold is better than Reece James. I am absolutely not on board with this fact. I think Reece James is far superior when it
What
comes
has
to.
Reece James done?
What has
He's
Reece
just been
James
on the.
done?
He
Yeah,
doesn't
what
need to
is
do
this
anything.
Trent,
question?
Just
the
his
Trent,
ability, just his
Like the
ability.
worst
what
question
ability
ever.
what ability does Trent lack?
I'll tell
Like,
you.
okay, defensively, but
Okay,
his
okay, okay.
attacking qualities are like
Let me let me
far
let me
better.
let me land. Let me land. Okay. Trent Alexander-Arnold in the midfield, absolutely. I'm not even questioning. I
But
think he could.
he wasn't playing in midfield
I
since
know.
then.
Let me land. Let me land. You'll see
Okay,
where
okay.
I'm taking this. Reece James on the flanks. He is electric. He tracks back. He's defensively solid. His crossing is on point. And when he gets a chance to shoot, whether it's first time or one touch shot, he scores. He's world class when it comes to his finishing. He's absolutely world class. SMG probably watches him on a regular basis. He
How
can probably.
many how many goals has he scored? How
He's
many
a
Yeah,
assists has he
he's
made?
a freaking right back. He scores whenever he plays. Look at his, the number of games
How
he's
many
played.
goals has he scored compared
Okay,
yeah.
to
I don't
Trent?
know, maybe two goals every 6 games he scores.
Okay, and how many assists has he made
Yeah,
That's
Trent
better
like
than
compared to
it,
Trent?
assists. No, he
Yes,
has assists and goals probably 4 to 5 every 6 games. He has a
is it
but
more
that's
goal
than
assist
even
Trent?
not more than Trent. Not more than Trent the whole season.
Come on, Trent has played more. Look at the ratio. That's what I'm talking about. Look at the
So
I think
don't
ratio.
even Trent's
compare.
ratio might be
So
better.
Nah, I don't think so.
I
yeah,
think Trent's
Um,
ratio is also better.
I wish SMG would join us back and
he got
and
so embarrassed by your question that he had to turn off his camera. I mean, he doesn't want to answer this. I mean, it's
hey,
obvious.
listen. I don't know what games you guys watch, but I've seen that
People have
guy.
been saying like Trent has been the generational right back for like 4 or 5 seasons. One
I,
bad
I
season and we
agree.
just take him.
I agree, but I'm just saying this guy Reece James has been, just like Jack Wilshere, he's been often injured. Every season he gets injured for half
So
the
even
season.
that's if fitness is a thing in football.
Agreed. But in just terms of sheer ability, have you seen the
No,
kind of
you cannot question. You cannot question his Trent's ability.
except for
His balls
passing,
are better.
except
His
for
balls are
passing,
crazy.
of course, except for passing, every other ability, I think Reece James outshines Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think Gareth Southgate is not going to pick Trent Alexander-Arnold at the right back
That's
position.
Southgate's problem. I think any attacking minded manager picks Trent.
I no, but Reece James is
100%.
amazing in it from an attacking standpoint as well. SMG is back on the telecast here. So, do you think I'm completely speaking, out of my mind here, or can you
I
please
think
help me out here?
to go back, you have to see Trent's defending against the Napoli game or so many games. Whenever he gets a winger like Vinicius Junior,
We have
or
also seen Reece James also defending horribly sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
recently when he
he's
played.
been
Yeah,
shite.
Yeah.
He's been
What?
shite this
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 season,
season.
this
yeah, yeah,
season
He's
yeah.
you
been
can
really
He's been
bad.
You've not watched. I've
injured.
watched.
I don't
No,
care.
he's
He's
not.
played some games. He's been bad.
Whenever he's played, he's been at fault for a lot of goals, and we don't like make a big scene just because Reece James. And whenever it's Trent, we just make a big scene out of it.
You guys are
Trent, Trent, Trent plays much higher up the field than Reece James, so of course he's gonna be vulnerable.
How does Reece James get in the corner of the D box and score so many goals? How?
So
When is
many
he
assists.
scoring? Like, he had a purple patch for I think last season where he's initially in the first few games he scored a lot of goals and then he didn't.
Even this season, he scored a couple of volleys.
No,
Didn't
just
he?
a couple of volleys. Even Trent scored a free kick or something.
He's played a couple of games. That's what he's played.
Yeah, but you
And
cannot
And this
base
is
it off
Shaq's
that,
Chelsea
right?
team.
We have
This-
other players to score goals.
Exactly.
We have other players to score goals.
You cannot
We don't-
compare a player and say this player is better than that when that player can't even feature in the games. But I don't care if it's injury or
Yeah,
know,
it's like me
he's,
saying Naby Keita is one of the good, better midfielders because he's got ability.
yeah,
He
it's
doesn't
like
play.
Naby Keita doesn't have ability.
comparing Isak with Gabriel Jesus. It's a different class.
What? Where did this
Yeah,
come
yeah. I totally agree. Isak is always the
Did
better
you
class
see
than
Isak
Gabriel.
today? Did you see Isak today? Did you see Gabriel the day before? There you go.
Listen, we are going to compare. Can you quickly check iToonmag the number of appearances to the number of goals and assists for Isak, and let's compare that with Gabriel Jesus this season. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Exactly.
I think-
Thank you
I
for
think
saying
Gabriel-
that. I've been saying the same thing when you're comparing Trent to Reece James. It's the
Yeah,
same
he's
kind of
been
comparison.
good for 5 years now. He's competing with KDB for the number of assists. Madness. Like, you don't even think about it. And it's just
Okay.
one season you write it off.
Fravasi, do you think there is? Do you think Trent Alexander-Arnold in the midfield is going to be a revelation? Do you see that?
Yes,
happening?
absolutely. And so I've been speaking about it on our group chat. I mean, his position is in midfield, and he has to play in midfield.
I agree.
He can't play in the right back position, right? Until and unless he fixes a defensive mindset. Okay. If he fix it in the transfer window, then it's fine. Otherwise, he has to shift in the midfield.
Agreed. Now, SMG, do you see Klopp playing Trent Alexander-Arnold in the midfield next season in a double pivot?
Definitely, if they get a right back, I think they need to buy a right back because to cover
They have
up
a
for
Welsh
that,
guy. Don't they have a Welsh guy or something? They bought this
So
season.
that it's
No, they
the
need to buy
Scottish
a
guy, I
proper
think.
right back. They need to buy a proper
Yeah,
right
proper.
back. Liverpool.
So why
They
they
will,
buy?
I think. They were looking at it, I think. Right
So
back
who
is
are they
one
going to
of the.
buy? Who are they going
I
to
don't
buy?
know. I don't know.
Mazraoui
There's
from
no
Bayern
link.
Munich,
Yeah, he's a good choice. I think I like him.
Achraf
But I
Hakimi from
think
PSG.
I think Trent is
Nah,
still a
Hakimi
right
went
back.
with PSG.
I think next season Trent will still be a right back. His just role will be different. He'll be an
Like
inverted right back. Yeah.
I see.
Maybe the
That's
right
awesome.
center midfield will be more tucked in. That's how we're gonna play.
Okay, we're going to move from. Well, before I move on to the next topic, iToonmag, did you check the statistics? I saw you looking at your
No,
phone.
I didn't. No, I didn't. But what I look is from last season, Trent and Resumes has a same type of statistics. I mean, goal plus assist is both 14.
So that's okay.
Though Rice James plays quite a less number of games, but
Exactly.
before
Thank
Just
you.
last
Thank
season,
you.
whatever the season before,
He's
the season
improved.
before.
yeah, that's where I was coming. The before that
was-
season, 2020, 20 and
Reece James did not. He
21.
was not featuring that much.
exactly. Reece
He-
James didn't feature.
Yeah, he was. He
No,
was
he
just,
did feature. He did feature.
He did feature. Reece
But he
James
was-
played a
He
lot
did
of.
but he
He
was
played
not
a
as
lot of games
prominent.
under Lampard.
But he was
He
not
did.
as
I get it.
prominent. He was not as prominent as Trent Alexander-Arnold for the past 3-4 seasons. You got to. You
But
just can't
Reece
make
James
it up.
has got to do it for most seasons. That's the thing.
He will. He will. He is gonna.
He's injured half the time. How can he do it?
He's gonna end his career as a better right back than Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I don't believe it.
And Trent will be.
How do you know that? This guy's injured all the time.
Yeah.
Blanket
barring,
statements, one
bar-
after
bar-
the other.
barring injuries. Barring injuries.
Barring injuries is a very vague
This
thing
is not
because you're
FIFA,
just
bro.
getting injured. Yeah, you'll get injured. Someone who can get injured so many times, he will get injured again.
But you do think that he has a better position in the midfield, right, Jishmaester?
100%. I think he would be an amazing number 8. I think he has the defensive. The reason I'll tell you, and this time there's no banter and there's no blanket statements. To play a number 8, you don't need the same defensive tactical nous that you need at right back. At right back, you have to be decisive in your tackles. Whereas at number 8, the kind of role that Xhaka and Odegaard play, you need to harrow and press and constantly be a menace for sure, but you don't have to be as defensively um, you don't need to have defensive excellence in order to shine in that role. Whereas that's where he has the ability to go on pressing players. That's never been in question. The biggest question mark with his defensive ability was his timing of tackling, knowing when to or his positioning. So if he has that issue and he's in the number 8 role, and we know that he's world class when it comes to passing the ball and creating space and controlling the game from deep, I think he's going to be a world class number 8. I think absolutely I see him being a potential Andre Pirlo in the future. Some players like of that level when it comes to midfield. And this is not a blanket statement. I'm telling you because he has his passing ability is comparable to Kevin De Bruyne.
I think he was really good at passing at like last few games I saw he was like passing with his left feet, right feet, in a flash, just receiving the ball, and it's accurate also.
And you cannot tell me
can
that
do
defensively he's not as good as Odegaard or Pirlo or Xhaka. You cannot tell me that. He's at least as good as them to play in a midfield diamond, right? As long as there's a proper defensive midfielder in Rodri, realm.
I liked how you put in Odegaard and
Odegaard.
and Xhaka with Pirlo, like very smart.
I'm just talking about the defensive
weird.
abilities. Do you think Pirlo's defensive
How-
abilities?
Dude, don't sandwich Pirlo between like Odegaard and that's like, I mean, you got a layer of shit, and then you got gold, and then another layer of shit.
What?
Take somebody else. Pirlo is a legend. He's a football legend.
Okay.
Pick somebody else.
Tony Cruz.
No.
Tony Cruz is also a legend, I feel.
Oh my
No,
god.
I'm not talking. Okay, forget about Odegaard. Forget about Xhaka. Pirlo. There's players like I'm going to tell you the names that have played number 8 successfully. Xavi Hernandez in his later years played number 8. You've had Ivan Rakitic. You've had Steven Gerrard. In his later years.
Talk about the recent ones.
Number 6.
Frankie
Number
De
6.
Jong. Let's talk about.
Yeah, he can definitely be as good as he's got a better passing ability than Frankie De Jong for sure. Yeah,
but Frankie is a different kind of player. He is more like
of course everybody is unique, but I'm saying
the problem with Liverpool, I think, is with if you think that Trent is going to go in midfield, which is fine. I mean, I just think it's a stopgap.
I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be he will be a midfielder. He'll be an inverted right back. That's what.
Exactly. And a lot of players, a lot of teams are doing it. You see that in City.
I know,
you see that in United as well.
But that's not the same.
Arsenal have been doing it with Zinchenko as well.
Yeah, it could be the same. It could be the same because we have 3 midfielders, and if he goes into midfield, he just gets this free area of space. No one is marking him. He can just ping balls like that. Maybe that's the tactic. And if we have a good right center midfield, which we have been lacking since Gini Wijnaldum left, he can cover up. Because that season, Liverpool conceded only 15 goals when we won the league. No one complained about Trent's defending that season. So it's the position he has, I feel. He cannot make up ground. He's not that fast enough to make up ground from the advanced position he's always in. So maybe with this new role, he can get better.
Right. Now, listen, we have spoken about Liverpool's defense and potential future midfield. We're going to be moving on to the attack now. Now that we've seen Jota, hit stride and get 4 goals in 2 games, I believe, in the last 2 Premier League games. Who do you think is going to be the starting striker next season? Jota, Darwin Núñez, or Cody Gakpo? I'm going to start off this question with Saul. Who do you think is going to be?
Well, it's got to be Darwin and Gakpo. I think Jota has some injury issues like every season, and I don't think if you look at him as a long-term attacker.
No, maybe if he's fit, who starts? That's a good question. If he's fit and consistent, like he has been in the past, who starts?
I think still Gakpo and Darwin. Gakpo because I think he can play a lot of roles on the pitch, and which is great, and that's one of the reasons why Manchester United was tracking him. He can be on the left. He can go in front. He can also make the link-up play. So
can Darwin, so can Jota, so can both of them.
Okay. I think Gakpo has a bit of Firmino in him. I think he can hold up the ball better.
Liverpool, since they've already had that man in Firmino when he was around, I think he'd be the ideal replacement. The thing about Darwin is, I also think that he needs to play, but I just feel that he left Benfica too soon. I don't blame him. I mean, going to a Liverpool, like, stature of club is definitely the progress that you would want to make, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get used to the Premier League, because he does all the right things. It's just like, sometimes he's not hitting the shot right. Sometimes, not in the right positions, but he makes the run. He puts in the
Yeah,
shift in.
he's
So
actually a brilliant. I've watched him. Like his runs are really excellent. His
yeah,
timing of the runs are really excellent. He gets a lot of chances that way. Maybe he'll finish it next season. I don't know.
Right.
yeah. So
Um,
Yeah.
not Jota, definitely.
okay. So SMG, who do you think should be the starting striker for Liverpool next season?
I think I would go with Jota for sure, because I think Liverpool plays
Me too.
differently. Jota comes in and plays. That sink is so much is there, but when Darwin, I know they make runs and all, but somehow he tries to score. Maybe Salah is in a better position. Jota would do that same thing. Like if Salah is in a better position, he would pass. He won't try to be the hero or fancy something. So that's why I feel Jota, and he has played with Mane, Salah, and also I think that sync is so much in place compared to Gakpo or Darwin.
100%. 100%. Listen, my take on this is that Jota is superior in finishing ability when it comes to, comparing these three. He's probably one of the best in the Premier League when it comes to finishing ability. Um, his numbers when he's played you can have a
His
look.
numbers are not good anymore because he's just I think 30 games he didn't score for 30 games.
I know that, but that's because he's been on and off through injury,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. But before, I'm
Yeah, I
talking
get
about
your point. I get your point. Yeah, I get your point.
before this season in its entirety, even last season, I believe when we played you guys, he sat down Ramsdale and scored. Was it Ramsdale
Yeah,
or Bobby?
Jota always
Yeah,
scores versus
Yeah.
Arsenal
he's
and
a very
Bobby.
good finisher. Yeah, Bobby too. That's true. But Jota is, I think, is a different breed of finishing ability, and his in the D box dribbling skills are phenomenal too.
Mhm.
He has amazing heading prowess, in my opinion.
Yep.
And Darwin, maybe in the future, he probably has the potential. He will become something, and so might Gakpo. And I haven't seen much from Gakpo, honestly speaking. He just doesn't appeal to me the kind of player he is. But I'm going to ask Pravasi, who would be your pick out of this three?
Now, first of all, I have a question: is that which player is going to play in the left wing position of in the
That's nailed
Liverpool?
on. That's nailed on. Luis Diaz.
And I don't think that
Okay.
is nailed on.
Then
What?
if Jota, if
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it'll be like Diaz and Jota switching, or maybe Darwin sometimes. They'll be switching around a lot
But
towards the season next.
Luis Diaz, I think, is, if he just came back yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So
The day,
once,
day the day like the game before this he came back. Yeah.
yeah, I think if anybody is nailed on in the front three for you guys, it's Salah and Diaz. I mean, that's just my opinion. But Pravasi, go ahead.
I feel that position is crucial. If there is a rotation between Diaz and Jota, then I think Darwin will start as his primary striker. If not, then I think Jota will start because Jota in his form is excellent to watch.
Mhm. Yes, certainly. iToonmag, I'm going to end the Liverpool segment before we move on to the title contenders. Who do you think should be the starting striker um, for Liverpool next season out of the three?
Well, given the circumstances with the current transfer, I mean next transfer window, Jota has a chances to coming to Newcastle.
Oh,
Hey,
And
James, no, no,
yes,
listen, this guy,
James,
this
James Pierce ruled it out. James Pierce ruled it out. It's not happening. It's
He's
not
not
happening.
wrong. There are like so
No,
many
no.
attackers in
He's
the
not.
Liverpool team. It's
Yeah,
like
we
I
have
think
five. It's not so many.
they
It's
have
not so
to.
many.
I mean,
Newcastle is buy every
the-
from
yeah,
every club.
Newcastle's gonna buy everybody. Like,
they have the
Every
no,
money.
no, no.
every
I'm not
yeah.
saying it. I'm not saying it.
No, he's
I'm
not
not
getting
saying
sold.
it's about
He's not getting sold.
okay,
So
but
If he
there is
was,
already been rumor. I'm talking
if
about rumor. So
if
if
he was
given
getting
that,
sold, he wouldn't be playing so much. But he just came back from
yeah.
injury and he's starting games now. So
So
if he
now
was getting
if
sold, he
you
wouldn't
ask
be playing.
if you ask me in the left wing, it's always Luis Diaz over Darwin Nunes for me. And if you give me in the in the middle position apart from the right wing, I believe it is Jota because he's a very underrated player. When he played for Wolves, when he came in Liverpool, he proved. Yeah, I know he is a 30 games drought. I mean, that's just something due to his injury probably. But I believe the way he can finish any other his conversion rate, I believe Jota would be the perfect one to position him in the
Oh,
nine.
by the way, just interrupting. We are going to penalties, right?
Yes, I
Yes,
believe so. Yes,
Okay,
and also
okay.
just so you know, those 30 games, I don't think he started more than 20%
Yeah.
of those games. I don't
yes,
think
he came for probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and
exactly. So they count as appearances. I mean,
yes,
yeah,
Yeah.
he
yeah.
was recovering. So it's not
But he was not playing well also. Like,
he wasn't. He
like
wasn't. I'm not
yeah,
defending
yeah,
him, but
The overall
despite.
Liverpool team is not playing well. It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just Jota.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
if the supply does not come from the midfield, how was start?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I think that's
forward line.
every striker's problem. In
So
was the problem at
yeah,
Liverpool.
if given
Okay.
circumstances, I would prefer Jota over anyone in in the middle position. After Bobby, he is the one who can inherit that number 9.
Saul, could you
I,
please keep us posted on the penalty shootout live on air? Okay. Um,
can I just say about this like Jota Darwin just maybe 30 seconds.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think Salah is nailed on, right? You all know Salah is nailed on. I think Diaz and Jota they will switch around. I think it will depend from game to
Yes,
game.
yes,
Sometimes
absolutely.
if we need the Firmino type of role, then maybe Gakpo gets in, and then Gakpo switches for Jota at striker. Then Diaz can play left wing. I don't think they'll be very flexible next
Mhm.
season.
But
I don't think it's that.
what happened to William Carvalho?
Fabio
Isn't it
Carvalho.
Fabio Carvalho? Sorry, yeah,
I think he will go on loan. He's a good player. I think he. We have five attackers, so I don't think we need any more
yeah.
unless it's an emergency.
That kid is really
So
talented, I believe. Yeah. But anyway, we are coming to the end for Liverpool here, so we're going to be switching on to our next topic. Manchester City. They,
McAllister scored.
McAllister scored. That's good. Yeah, I love that guy. I love that guy. Me and the Bong Scouser had an argument about, who should you guys be buying, whether it's Nico
No,
Barella or
McAllister.
yeah. I think McAllister is really good. But let's talk about Manchester City now. The reigning, defending, undisputed champion of the Premier League, Manchester City. The Blue Sharks seems like they've caught up to the Red Nemos of Arsenal. But
I think that the topic should be can they win the treble?
well, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, no, absolutely. That is in question. But I wanted to just start off with taking Fravasi's take on how Manchester City have been steamrolling, whether it's Bayern Munich, any team that has come their way, whether it's the Premier League, Sheffield United, in the FA Cup this weekend, any team and every team, they're just getting steamrolled. They're on, they're absolutely running a demolition derby. Fravasi, what is your take on Manchester City?
uh, I don't know. It's too good run to continue. I feel. I mean, they will drop points. They will drop the energy at some point of time. I hope that it's not the vital games. Um, so I have my fingers crossed. I don't know. I don't know how to react to this.
Okay.
I think Saul will be back after the shootout.
Yeah. Of course, he will be. But Fravasi, do you see
But
this
I think,
team?
but I feel that after the FFP allegations that came on us, I feel the squad is more acting like a unit,
They got
as a single
galvanized.
unit.
Yeah, they got
Yeah, more
galvanized.
galvanized now. Before that, we had certain issues I feel that we have covered up by removing certain players from our squad. So that helped us to galvanize and to be a united team and go for the kill.
Hmm. Now, next question. As the Klopp I'd asked, by popular demand, are you guys going to win the treble?
Uh, it's very tough, very tough. I don't know. I mean, we are facing Real
It's just
Madrid.
Real Madrid, I
That's
think. It's just
yes,
Yeah,
Real
we are
Madrid.
facing Real Madrid, and we
and
have a
It's only
and we
that game.
and means we have a trauma from last season. That 2 minute that 2 minute
Rodrigo,
fiasco that
2 minutes.
occurred in Bernabeu that left us a huge. Means we don't know what is going to happen against Real Madrid. But I hope that we take that revenge. We take that revenge. We go there and beat them. That would be a hell lot of a show. Okay. If we beat Real Madrid, I think we are going to win the treble. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm. What about you, SMG? Do you see them winning the treble?
No, I think it's Madrid to win Champions League again because that's what they live for every season. So, and
I'm
it's
sick
just
and
that
tired of that. I'm sick and tired of that
just
visual.
they have been
Maybe
in the
this
Yeah,
will
man.
change.
Me
Maybe this
too.
will
Me
right.
too.
change.
Me too. That has to
Maybe it will
change. That
change
has
this
to
year.
change.
See,
Yeah.
it's the Prestige City, right? They have to win something. For Madrid, it's like every season they are in that position.
Yeah.
So it's just that I feel Madrid's gonna win the. I mean, City is not gonna win the Champions League for sure. So
I have a feeling City's going to beat Real Madrid this season. I'll tell you the
If
reason
they
why.
beat Real Madrid, they're winning the league, Champions
No,
League.
I feel. You see, we have changed from the last season, right?
Of course,
In
you
the
guys
last
didn't have a
season,
striker.
we didn't have a proper striker, and Sterling
Exactly.
and Jesus were missing the chances
Chances. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
like none other. So on that front, we
This
have changed.
100%.
Our defensive mindset has become much more stronger. We know that what faults we made at that 2 minute, we are not going to repeat that. We have seen against Bayern how the defensive display was, right? So the mentality was there that we are not going to concede. We are not going to concede like silly. So if these continue, then I think to we are going to win in Bernabeu and as well as in
Yeah,
Etihad. Right?
listen, we can all probably agree that the FA Cup potentially, they're super favorites to win, right? For sure they are. Now with the Champions League,
It's just Real Madrid
I know
winning
it
the
is
league.
just Real Madrid, and then they got to play either Inter, or AC Milan. I think they're gonna
They
make
beat them.
light work of them for sure. But in terms of Real Madrid, it's gonna be a very hard game. Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, and Benzema and Modric, they're not gonna come easy at you, right? With and other players, on the pitch, whether it's Valverde and Camavinga and Chouameni. Listen, they're uh, the titans in the European picture for sure, Real Madrid. But this year they have a phenom, they have a machine in Erling Haaland, which they did not have last season. They had, as he mentioned, Gabriel
Five
Jesus.
five, 5-5 on penalties.
It's going to sudden death, it seems. Okay, awesome. I'm sure he's
Oh, sorry, it's 4-4. It's 4-4. Yeah, it's almost sudden death. 4-4 is
okay, okay. Yeah, I'm sure Saul is shitting bricks there.
also.
Um, but in terms of the Champions League, Erling Haaland is going to make a huge difference. I just don't see how um, they can cope with Erling Haaland for 90 minutes, well, 180 minutes, and not have Kevin De Bruyne thread a pass. And then there's these other players: Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish is in form, Ilkay Gundogan running in late into the box. There's so many players. This team is phenomenal. It's a once in a lifetime sort of a team. This should be comparable to if they win the Champions League, they will be compared to the greatest of all time, teams of the world, whether it's the 2009-10 Barcelona or the Manchester United of 2007 and 8. They will be compared to those greats for sure. But talking about winning a treble, they need to win the Premier League as well. A team that potentially was, giving it fair and strong competition till date has been Arsenal. Okay. And I want to ask you guys, is Arsenal bottling it as it stands, or do you not think that getting 75 points off of this is the Premier League at the end of the day, the toughest league in the world? 75 points with a young team with some crucial injuries. We are just probably, faltering. We're conceding more goals. We're not as strong in defense as before. But in terms of the attack, we're still producing goals. Do you think we're bottling it, or do you think this is temporary? And as soon as Saliba's back, things will get better, and we will have a proper dogfight at the end between City and Arsenal? Pravasi, I want to ask you this question first.
Okay. When will Saliba be back? I don't know. I mean,
The-
Arteta isn't going a definite time.
yeah,
That
he's playing mind games. There's a decent chance people are saying there's rumors he'll be back against City.
that that yeah, on Wednesday will be back. I think
Yeah.
there are rumors there. But overall, I feel that they are bottling it. Arsenal is bottling the Premier League right now. As this happens with Liverpool too, and with Manchester United too, means they are experienced teams, right? But they bottled. It's not easy to
Yeah,
chase Manchester City in
City is a
title race,
machine.
right?
City is a machine.
If
I
you
that
are
I got to know.
yeah, yeah, it's not at all easy to chase Manchester City in title race, right? If you are spilling blood in water, these shark will come and get you, right? It's as simple as that. So
Mm-hmm. iToonmag, what do you think? Are we bottling it?
Yes, I believe so. Because to be a league topper, you have to understand that with I mean a long league, there comes an injury, there comes certain scenarios where your players are missing, but you should have a proper backup for that.
Which we
You
don't.
can
Which we don't. Rob Holding has been. He
Yes.
is one of the players that needed to be shipped
Yes.
out anyway.
So Saliba is a big miss for Arsenal, I would say. Even the day he got injured, very next episode, I mentioned that as long as Saliba is not there, it's a chance that Arsenal is losing their position, and that's what exactly
That's
happened.
exactly what happened.
And Man City actually the Brock Lesnar of Premier League. They are absolutely going to thrash any team in Premier League. They're gonna come. But when we talk about treble, there's Real Madrid.
Solly March
So,
missed the penalty.
Oh, Solly
uh,
March missed a penalty.
so
Yeah,
it's tough for them to do a treble, but I do believe they're gonna win the Premier League and the FA Cup. But yes,
that's good.
for Arsenal, they are certainly bottling it. I hope Saliba comes and the scenario goes for them because I would really love to see Arsenal lift the cup because they are deserving champions this season. They played really well this season. Just for few
I
matches they faltered, and it would be really unjustified for the players like Saka or Odegaard.
yeah, United way.
United win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
you see, I would have preferred Manchester United in the cup final.
let's,
Yeah,
let's
come on, man. You're in the cup final.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second
congratulations.
second final.
you just scraped past Brighton, and you think you're just gonna, have.
I don't mind. I don't mind scratching the
It's a
barrel
final.
if you go to a
It's
final.
a final. Yeah, yeah, it's a
Yeah, it's a
final.
new
It's
game.
Wembley. It's
Probably
Wembley.
some players are going to come back from injuries. I don't care. And yeah, we're going to put the pressure on City to win the treble. There you go. It's on us. So if
Yeah,
we
yeah.
Yes,
lose,
That's
absolutely.
fair.
we know that we failed to stop them from the treble. So I prefer
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
over Brighton trying to do that. Right? That's a sorry state.
Absolutely. I'm gonna ask SMG next. Do you see Arsenal being bottlers, or do you think we are just crumbling under a little bit of pressure with injuries, and you think that we are going to stabilize um, over the next few games? I know we're playing Manchester City on Wednesday, but still.
Just so you know, before you answer that, he hates Arsenal. Like I don't like Arsenal. He literally hates Arsenal. Whenever I talk to him, he hates Arsenal. I mean, anyways, go ahead.
Okay, let's see the hatred spewing. Let's see it.
No,
Bring it
I
on.
would just use those words here, but but yeah, personally, I just don't like Arsenal. That's one thing for sure. But yeah, I think with I think they would stabilize because I think the match against Southampton I saw. So if you are not, I mean, compared to last season, they are in a situation where they are last season they were fighting for top 4, and this season they are fighting for the Premier League title. I mean, they're just gonna lose it. I feel. I mean, even if they showed some mentality in the last game about coming back 3-1 down to come back 3-3 and finish it, but last 6 7 game left and you are dropping points. It's not a champion sign for sure. So
Of course, I agree. I agree. Listen, you're on point there. I'll just give you my perspective on all of this. I've been extremely, heartbroken, especially with the Southampton game. To let go of 2-goal leads against Liverpool at Anfield is understandable. To not be able to keep a 2-goal lead against West Ham,
West Ham.
a woeful West Ham, which was beaten, I think, by Newcastle, was it? The
Yes, 5-1.
5-1 the game before. And especially considering the start we had, we were absolutely flying. Within 10 minutes, we scored two. And then we suddenly sat back. It's almost like, and Mikhail Antonio has, come out on an interview and then said this, that apparently he's heard inside news from the Arsenal camp that before, like about 2 3 weeks prior to 2 3 weeks, the Arsenal team were not even focusing on any other team. They were just playing their game. But apparently, in the past 2 3 weeks, we have started looking at Manchester City, and players are actually mentioning Manchester City in the dressing room, and that has probably taken a toll on the players. I believe that as soon as we start thinking about Manchester City, we want to hold on to a lead. We want to be more cautious. We don't want to make any mistakes. We're too afraid to make mistakes. It's like, if you've been on the stage for anything, whether it's music or sports, there's a stage fright. There's a stage fright that comes into you when you're in the moment. And that's kind of taking the toll on these players. However good Saka may be, we know that he's on, on course to become world class for sure. But he missed that penalty. And he has not missed a single penalty for Arsenal till date. I know he did miss that first one. That was his first ever penalty, in his professional senior career for England. But he's never missed a penalty for Arsenal. So him missing that penalty against West Ham and other situations where I've seen us, faltering, which I honestly did not see this coming. I did not see us dropping points against West Ham and at the Emirates against Southampton. Oh hell no, there was no way. And I think it has a lot to do with the players we had replacing Saliba and Xhaka at Southampton. If we do not play Fabio Vieira, who I think is pretty lightweight, he is not ready for the Premier League at all. If you see the first half of that game, he was nowhere. He was just running around, and he was not even considered for passes. He was a non-entity for the entire first half, and he was chopped within the 56th or 57th minute, and Trossard was brought in. And it shows you, even though Xhaka has been the moot point of jokes for seasons in the past, but this season he has been so important. He's been so important to this team that he brings stability. He keeps the ball moving. His positioning is, immaculate.
Why do you think the mentality has dropped? Like recently, because we've seen this before where they've lost one match, but they've came back really strong in the next one. But why do you think it's not happening now?
It's simply because I believe we have never been in this predicament of being, title challengers.
So you're saying Gary Neville was right.
I think Gary Neville was right. Absolutely.
But you were really pissed when
I
that
was.
interview came out.
I was. That's because I already told you. And I'm going to be somebody who's never going to be, hypocritical for sure. I'll tell the truth as it is. And I was mad at Gary Neville, the kind of disrespect he was showing to Arsenal. And I think I may be wrong, and both Gary Neville could be wrong. There's a very slight chance that we're both wrong, and we might still make a comeback. But I think it's 90% to 10 at this point in time. And I think we are crumbling under pressure. If we could potentially, if this was the other way around, all season, I'll tell you something. If City was leading us, at, they were, let's say, a couple of points ahead of us, I would have said we would have not dropped these points against Southampton and West
But
Ham.
I don't think then you would be even close to City. You would just fly away.
Probably, but I'm just giving you the instance. Did you remember when we dropped points against Everton, Brentford, and Manchester City? It happened in like 3 weeks back to back. And then we went on a 7 or 8 or 9 game winning run. And there was one draw in the middle. There was, what? I just remembered. There was a draw, but that was the Brentford draw. But all in all, we accumulated like crazy amount of points, whereas City dropped points. City dropped points in that run. So that was when City had kind of overtaken us. City had overtaken us for one game week back in the around February, early February, I believe. They had overtaken us for one game week. And then the pressure was kind of, again, people were expecting, this is it. City's gonna, run away with it at this point. But then, as soon as the pressure was kind of relieved, and we were playing in our element again, we were producing good football again, and we were not, defensively shite. But again, at this point
when you got knocked out of the Europa League, I think everybody started saying now the priority is Premier League and it's a blessing in disguise. How can you say now that they're giving up, they don't have the nerves, and
so
it's too much pressure? Because you also have to understand, I know that City probably has better players, better squad, better managers in every department, but they're also in three,
competitions.
Very
and that gives
tough
me hope.
competitions.
That gives me hope. Saul, listen, I'm going to tell you something. You've watched Manchester United play, lifelong. In the past season or so, wouldn't you say that your team looks a little shaky and lacking confidence when Maguire is at the back? It's not the same as having Lisandro Martinez at the back, right? Is it as assured? It's not. Forget the mistakes, but even the
I don't
cons.
think not this season. Not this season. This maybe under Solskjaer, yes, because this is in the style that we played, and this season not really because I mean you can always look at Maguire and say, hey, I don't like that. I wish Varane was there or something like that. But at
I've
the end
seen
of the day,
making. I've seen him being shaky at the back.
no, he
Maguire,
has been shaky, but that doesn't mean so you can be shaky, you can go down 1-0, you can come back as well, right? So
of course
that's
you
more
can.
from a collective mentality of the team rather than having like a Maguire. Because Maguire is not the end all and be all this season because we have a CDM, which we didn't last season, right? We have a
Mhm.
CDM. Fred and McTominay has almost turned into bench players, which means they can always come in and do a job and then go out. They don't have to play 90 minutes. We don't have to be dependent on them. So there are upgrades in every area, not every, but some of those areas. So yeah, I mean it's not the same. I mean, yeah, by looking at Harry Maguire, people troll him all the time, so you can always say that, but it's not like last season. It's definitely changed.
Listen, I'm gonna have to take a quick break. Just give me a second. I'm gonna start the main event part of Wednesday. Please, can you guys catch up? I need to quickly just have a quick break. Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about how shit Arsenal is. Uh, how can you get 3 points out of 9 games against Liverpool, who are in the worst form that I've seen in recent times, West Ham, and then Southampton? I get it, Southampton's battling relegation, but come on, you cannot go down 3-1. It's insane. And my point is, people are talking about Arteta being, the main manager of the Premier League this season, and we're talking about how young their team is. Saka, Martinelli being like world class players, like soon to be world class players, doesn't show that. I mean, I know that they will probably like if worst case scenario they'll end up going second in the Premier League, but you cannot stay first for 98 or 99% of the Premier League in the first position and then say, oh, we don't have the mentality, so we
No.
screwed up. That's just an excuse, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's just not me,
it's a
right?
very limited.
Yeah, absolutely.
It should be a very limited excuse. And you cannot say that we don't have the players in bench to replace the key players. That can be given an excuse. Then you are not a champion team. If your bench cannot be the substitute of the current 11, top 11, then you cannot be a champion team. And the way City has reformed their team, their bench can even start for a starting 11 for any other team. So you cannot give those terms as excuse for not finishing top. You cannot give that.
And also with like City, I think okay, it's City, so it's has to be perfect. Otherwise, it's not good, right? But City also went through a little bit of like hiccups, right, in between where they
Yeah.
were dropping points. There was this whole rumor about Cancelo, and then the FA charges. So it's not like they had smooth sailing as well. I mean, it was ups and downs. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this, Pravasi?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing in disguise that those things happened at that point of time that made our team more united. As I said earlier, you see, FFP charges was certainly a blessing in disguise. You see, departure of Cancelo was a shock to us. You see, he played absolutely phenomenal pre World Cup. Post World Cup, I think and during the World Cup, he was not playing with Portugal. I think Dalot was playing as right back, and Guerrero was playing as left back in the Portugal team. So lack of game time in the World Cup must have done something to his mind, or I don't know, whatever. He came flustered, and then he dropped his place in the Manchester City team, and that created a series of events in our dressing room, I feel. So controlling that, you see, in that phase of time between that December to January, we dropped a lot of points in Premier League as well as we underperformed in every competition, right? So that was something that we had to overcome it, and we did well. Did well by leaving Cancelo out. And then on the 6th of February, the FFP charges is something that's a certain blessing in disguise that has transformed our team rapidly. And right now we are in a 17 or 16 games unbeaten running form. So it's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah,
But the FA charges can bite you back later, right?
I
I mean,
don't
I
think
get
it
the
will bite
whole
us back. I don't think it will bite us back. I said
because
it
you have the
earlier.
money.
No, no, not money. I think UEFA leveled us the same charges, I think, and the CAS, I know that CAS will not come into picture in the FA charges. So that is a different matter. But I think if the team has come clean, if the batch has come clean in the CAS, I don't think it's a series of charges to take into picture in case of the FA allegations. And after the allegations were made in the 6th of February, I think after 4 or 5 days, the Premier League has come out and I think they have replaced or edited some of the charges that were there. They removed certain charges because they have means they were not sure they have the certain evidences with themselves. So I think overall it will take 4 to 5 years or 6 years of time to come I think to have a
That
verdict
long?
on this issue, and that verdict will, yeah, it will come. It will take that long. You see, 110 charges are there. So even if we club those charges, it will take a lot more. It will take at least 3 to 4 years of time. You see, all the experts are saying so. So we have to take them for granted. And by that time, I think after 3 to 4 years, it will come absolutely clean on these charges.
I mean, even if they don't, we won't remember what the charges were because it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
5 years.
Yeah. You see,
But I think the charges are
you see,
only.
after 2 months or 2.5 months, nobody remembers it. I mean, what are the
Mhm.
charges? What were the charges there? I
I
think
think the
no one knows.
charges
And
were based on the 2013, 14, those kind of period, and so
yeah,
these titles won't affect them anyway.
one
I
of
don't think
them,
they can take a.
yeah, I think one of them was the wages that we paid to the then manager at that time. That is, I think what ManCity was that time the manager. I think those were the questions asked. I think Mancini has come and said that there is no I mean nothing that happened out there, and he said that you can come and check our accounts and it's absolutely clean. So I don't think that it will hold weight in the courts. I don't think so.
I don't think we know what's gonna happen. So like it's like so far away.
It's not that
It's not.
the money will overpower these charges. I don't think Premier League can prove these charges against us. You see, as was happened during UEFA ruling, UEFA couldn't prove those charges against us.
Yeah, so sorry for this brief interruption, guys. I had a terrible cramp and I had to take a quick break. But what are we going to see this Wednesday? Did we already discuss predictions yet?
No, not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
We are
Not yet,
waiting for
not
you.
yet. Yep.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Pravasi, what do you think is going to be happening this Wednesday? Is it going to be a steamroller of a performance where we're going to be annihilated, just like Tottenham got beaten by Newcastle today?
No, not that type of annihilation. We are playing at Etihad, right? So I feel that a 3-0 or a 3-1 scoreline will be there. I feel it will
For
be it
Arsenal,
will be
that's
for
an
Manchester.
annihilation.
No, it will be for Manchester City.
For
You see,
Arsenal, that could be
there
annihilation.
is, yeah, absolutely. You see, past 11 games, we are 11-0, right? We won all the games that we played against you.
But that
So in
Arsenal
this
cannot be
season, we
compared to
played
this
against you for
season.
2 times and
Yeah, but
we
even
won
you
against
couldn't
you.
beat
So,
them at the Emirates. They won at the
Right.
Emirates
yeah,
as well.
Yep.
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
We
absolutely.
missed,
So I don't think,
sitters though. We missed sitters. But
and
listen,
and Etihad is our fortress, so I don't think you stand a chance. Means, with all due
No
respect, you
chance.
doesn't stand a chance in the.
And in case Arsenal does lose this game, which is highly likely, do you see any chance of us winning the title with the remaining fixtures that you have, 7 games that you're going to have left?
No, no.
You still have to go
No,
away to
no.
Brentford and Brighton, and you have 2 games against Real Madrid.
Yeah, we also have a tough phase coming out from 14th May to I think 24th or 25th May. That phase is horrendous for us. I think we are playing 4 games in a span of 11 to 12 days, or 10 to 11 days. I don't know. So
Mhm.
Compared
that's
to Arsenal, who's going to be after the City match, I think you have a game against Chelsea, right? So
yeah.
get ready, man. Lampard is
No,
waiting for you.
no, after Arsenal, I think against
I think
Fulham.
it's over at the Etihad. I think it's over at the Etihad. It's all done and
Okay.
dusted at the
Yeah,
Etihad.
with
So,
2 games in hand and a win in Etihad, I think Manchester City will go through.
mhm. Now, the Kloppite, you also feel the same? There's no chance,
Yeah, yeah. I
health's going
think
to freeze over and Arsenal's not going to get a point.
like I'll be fair to Arsenal. I don't think they were at the start of the season they were title contenders anyway.
Of course
So
not. We were not even considered for the top 4. So it is an
yeah, so
overachievement anyway, but still.
so I think the like we were discussing like they is it bottling? I don't think it's bottling in that way, but yeah, you should have held on to an 8-point lead because
Mhm,
we also dropped 8 points versus City 3 years ago.
mhm.
So that way, I think City just got it. City are machines. Like
You're inaudible. I'm going to move on this question to Saul. What do you think is going to happen at the Etihad this Wednesday?
I want to see a good match. It has a feeling of a cup final, and I want to see a good match. I don't want Arsenal to bend over bend over backwards, because I mean, come on, if they screw this up, man, DR Sports, AFTV, Jishmaester, you guys are going down, man. You remember that Amazon documentary, All or Nothing? I've been saving that for the whole year. I've got a bottle of wine, bought some chips. I'm going to watch it after the season is over. Okay, so I'll make sure Arteta makes everybody in the squad watch that documentary and get their whole motivations up and fight for it. I mean, they're still in the first spot. They cannot lose this. They can't do this. I
It
mean,
is still in our
City,
hands. If
yeah,
we
Yeah,
win the rest
don't
of our
you
screw up.
games,
win every game. You win every game, and you claim the
it's also
title.
in City's
It's
hands.
absolutely simple.
of course it is.
It's
Yes, it
also in
is.
City's hands. So
Yes,
you don't know.
Yeah, for sure. But Saul, what do you think the score line is going to be?
I think it's going to be a draw, just to keep it interesting for the neutrals.
You think it'll be a draw? Okay, perfect. iToonmag, what do you think the match is going to be like? Who do you think will be the star performers, and what do you think the score is going to be like?
Is Saliba back on Wednesday?
Well, it's tricky. Arteta's not giving a clear-cut answer, but high chance that he won't be, but Xhaka will be back for sure. So it might be.
I still, in that case, I still see a 4-1 loss for Arsenal. I'm very sad to say. And the key players, I believe, uh, as well on there is only one man in that team,
Erling
Haaland,
Haaland. Okay.
KDB, and I believe
KDB.
we will see a good game from Grealish because that man is performing really well recent times, and
Mhm.
I see him playing very well.
Awesome.
He is the crucial player in our team that playing 11.
Mhm. He's been playing really well. No, I completely agree. And SMG, what do you think is going to happen in this game?
It's 3-0 to City or 3-1 max. That one goal can be a consolation from 80 to 90 minutes. That's it.
Right. Now, I'll just give you a preview of what I think the game is going to be like. I think we're going to come hot at Manchester City for the first half for sure, and I think we're going to have a lead on them in the first half. This is my prediction.
Like your own goal or something.
No. I think with Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard, and Jesus and all, I truly believe that we're going to have a 2-0 or 1-0 or at least 3-1, some sort of a lead on Manchester City in the first half. But I don't think we'll be able to hold it. I don't think we're going to be able to hold our nerves, and there's going to be a high-scoring game where it's going to probably end 3-2 or 4-3 to Manchester City. I think they're going to win the game. I got to admit it. They're the better team. They're definitely, they have world-class players all around. We are still pretty early in our project. We got to have to add more depth to our team, and players like Holding is not going to cut it. They're not going to cut it because Gabriel looks unsure. The reason I brought up that Maguire topic for Saul, and I didn't quite get the answer that I was looking for. What I was trying to say was Ramsdale in recent games and since the Liverpool game, and Gabriel as well. Having a player like Holding impacts everybody. Impacts Ben White, impacts Thomas Partey, impacts Gabriel, impacts Ramsdale as well. It is unfortunate, but if Saliba plays, I think we may have a chance to get a point, not a victory. But if Saliba does not play, even if with Xhaka back, I don't see us winning this game. But I think it's not going to be a demolition as iToonmag, SMG, and Pravasi are predicting. I don't see it being a 4-1, 3-0, 3-1 sort of a score line. I think it's going to be more competitive. We are not going to bend over backwards. We will be playing attacking football 100%.
But don't you feel like you will have to win the game? You will go for the win.
We will, and that's why we will score goals for sure. And what's going to happen, and we're going to, as I said, the first half, we're going to be on them for sure. Because just even if you look at the Etihad game, I know they won the game, for sure. But we had 75% of possession. I know it means nothing, but we are able, against a Manchester City of this ilk, we're able to control the game. That says a lot about this Arsenal team. It's not,
or was it like Pep tactically setting it up that way?
Maybe he did. Maybe he did because he knew that he was not going to be able to outpress and outplay Arsenal. But I will point out something to you guys. They're missing Nathan Ake. I know you guys beat Sheffield United, but that's not really a fair comparison. And who did you play before Sheffield in the Premier League? Southampton or?
Yeah.
You played Southampton, right? I mean, we were not able.
Before that, I think we played Bayern Munich on the second league. Premier League, I don't know. I think
Southampton. They played Bayern.
Southampton, Premier League, Southampton. So obviously these are, and Bayern Munich has been, woeful as well. As you can see, they lost against Hoffenheim. I think
they played Leicester, not Southampton.
Leicester City. Okay,
Leicester.
They were really bad in that game, and even them, they had a chance to come back with Maddison. I think missing a chance that you would expect him to score around the 80th minute or 82nd minute. But anyway, I'm kind of deviating from the point where I'm trying to make. I believe that Arsenal's not going to bend over, and we will be attacking. We will be scoring goals. I don't think Manchester City is going to be able to contain us for 90 minutes. That's not happening.
But it's at the Etihad.
It is at the Etihad. Even if it's at the Etihad, they are not able to contain this team. Trust me. Take it from me. We will, again, rendezvous here on the next show for sure to talk about this on the fallout for that game. But
Absolutely.
I don't see them, bending over and not scoring goals. It's going to be a tight game. City will win for sure. They will outscore us, I believe, but we will, crumble. But I think.
And I want to see some. I want to see some fight. I want to see Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus celebrating after scoring against City. I want to see Arteta tackle Pep Guardiola and say whatever.
One thing you cannot say about this Arsenal team is that we lack fight. Did you see day before yesterday's game? We fought till the very end, and after the end of the game, all the players were lying on their backs with disappointment. That shows that they're passionate. It's a young team. I mean, I get it. I'm not.
It's the mentality.
It's because it's Southampton. When you go a 3-1, 1-3
if it's City, it's over. It's over.
Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
If you go down 3-1, it's not.
But yeah,
not coming back.
I'm truly agreeing with Saul. I just want to see a good match, a fighting match between Arsenal City, a true cup final match.
It will be like that, and I believe the score is going to be 4-3 to Manchester City. That's my final prediction. We're going to move over to the team that just got into the final of the FA Cup and will be facing Manchester City. Manchester United, and we're going to be talking about all the fallout here. Saul, I didn't get to watch the game. We were actually, none of us got to watch the game. We were all recording the
Well
show.
done. Yeah. You
How did
saved like 120
I,
minutes of
I
my
watched the
life.
first
It
half.
was
I
very
watched the
boring.
first half.
you did? You did okay.
Brighton were good, right? Brighton were good, right?
Yeah, they were good,
think-
but it
Yeah.
was one of those matches where it was just like nothing was happening. It was just like missed chances and giving the ball away. It was like a very boring match to watch. I think for 120 minutes. I mean, it was if it was like 90 minutes, it's fine, but it was just like a lot to like go through in the morning, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, Bruno was back, so I think from that point of view, we had that boost. I think one of the reasons why we were so crap at Sevilla is because he was missing. So he was back. Maguire was suspended, so Luke Shaw played at the left centre back role, which he has done previously and done a pretty decent job. Lindelof actually looked good today. So defensively, I would say we were really good.
So Luke
Again,
Shaw
like we
did a
have
better job. Luke Shaw did a better
yeah,
job at centre back.
exactly. And Delo is on left back, so various roles being shuffled around the team. It's good to see that we have some players who have the ability to do that. And Casemiro, I think, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say who played well and who didn't. I think
I saw the
Rashford
live
and
commentary, and and there were some moments where apparently Casemiro missed pass in the first half.
yeah, I think he does that all the time. I mean, that's part of his game where you would see the odd miss pass. That's his kind of that's his style, right? He's always he's not like a pure CDM, I think, who is only containing the ball. And in United, he's also the pivot player who's trying to make those passes to the flanks or trying to go forward to head the ball in and be in the box. So he tries to be box to box. So from that point of view, the miss passes are a part of his game, just like Bruno as well, right? All the Hollywood passes and things like that. Some of them make it through and they are always talked about, but the other ones are criticized.
So you guys did not create much chances against Brighton today.
Not many. I gotta check the stats. I think it was pretty even Stevens at the end of the final whistle, 120 minutes. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like we had a short chance of scoring. And
Yeah.
De Gea did make a couple of good saves, but then, I mean, it was a very boring match to watch. Honestly, I'm just glad that we got through
You
the
got
shootout
through. Yeah. You're in the
because
final.
we have a terrible form when it comes to shootouts. I think we've lost the 7 out of 8, and this was probably this made it like 6. So yeah, I'm just like really glad that we got through this.
I'm going to ask the next question that I have in mind. It's about Jadon Sancho. I've seen him, being touted as the next big thing for the past, 4 or 5 seasons, and we've seen how, poor he has been, piss poor he has been for the past couple of seasons. I don't think he's been living up to his expectations at all. I think he's very, very flaky when it comes to, playing in the Premier League. He can be pushed off the ball pretty easy. I don't think he's the fastest player either. He has flair, I'll give it to you, but he lacks some technical ability in order to, be playing in the Premier League. iToonmag, do you think Jadon Sancho is overrated? And would you like him at Newcastle like you want everybody?
No, we don't want him. I do believe Sancho is a bit overrated because he's an English player, and there are always this hype of some English player playing overseas, do some goals, assist, and they come as the next prodigy. Sancho is something like that. I mean, he is not something phenomenal, very ordinary. He does his work like passing, do things like dribble, and he's very slow as a winger, I would say. And but for
Yeah,
me,
but pace is not his
Yeah.
his
I
forte.
mean,
He's a
we've seen
different kind of a winger.
Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez is not fast either.
and
But his
but,
technical ability of Riyad Mahrez is
yes,
not comparable.
that's where I was going. Yes,
He's also
that's where
not like a Riyad Mahrez. I mean, he's not a dribbler.
He's not. He's nothing.
he's exactly.
No,
He's
that's not the point.
pretty overrated. He's pretty overrated for
He's
me.
worse than Emil Smith Rowe.
Why are we talking about players who don't even like play?
That's because of Arteta. I don't know why he starts Fabio Vieira over Emil Smith Rowe, but
He knows
that
he's shit.
he's
Like, I mean,
not. He was our highest scorer the past season. So
yeah.
he
And
cannot.
what happened? You finished fifth.
He got injured at the end of the season.
A
That's
blessing
how
in
we fell off.
disguise.
No, it was not. He's a phenomenal player. He'll come good. He'll come good. He's our number 10.
Hopefully.
He'll come good.
Yeah.
But Klopp, do you think Jadon Sancho, who was actually very heavily linked with Liverpool at one point, do you think he's overrated? And do you think it was a blessing in disguise for you guys to not have signed him?
So it's not a bullet dodge for Liverpool. It's actually a missile dodge for Liverpool, I would say.
I disagree. I like Sancho a lot, and I think it's a new manager, so maybe he's not accustomed to how Ten Hag wants to play. He's still a very good player. He's good on the ball. He's good on his feet. I really like him, and you don't produce such numbers in the Bundesliga just if you're a like if you're not if you're a bad player. You're a very good player if you just
Wait. Do you remember
produce a
Timo
lot of
Werner?
numbers.
Do you remember Timo Werner?
Timo Werner, maybe that's an exception, but Sancho is good. Yeah, Sancho is good. I like him a lot. I would have taken him at Liverpool. I'd still take him at Liverpool if like not replacing anyone, but I just take him anyway.
For the
But I
bench.
no, if not, he can start. He can start a few games.
Start.
It's like there is no bench player at Liverpool, I believe, except for Salah. Everyone's places can be rotated. But yeah, I like Jane Sancho a lot. I think he'll come good. I don't know if it's under Ten Hag because I don't believe Ten Hag will stay there, but he'll come good. I think.
Hmm. Now, Fravasi, Jadon Sancho is a Manchester City
Correct.
youth product. And do you think you missed out on a world-class talent, or do you think he's overrated? And you're inaudible. You're on
Okay.
mute. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely not. He was overrated when he was playing for the academy. That's why Pep left him. Yeah, the Pep allowed him to go to Dortmund. I think. Yeah, to go to Dortmund. And coming back to England, I don't know that. See how I can say that in terms of how Manchester City plays. You see, what I feel is Jadon Sancho is lacking is the walk rate. I think he doesn't track
Heavily.
back. He yeah he doesn't track back. He's not a team player. So all these factors, you see. Eric Ten Hag worked under Pep, right? So he has a certain amount of Pep philosophy working on his brain. So,
Mm.
so I feel that Eric Ten Hag doesn't like player who doesn't work as a team, who doesn't perform at that level, who doesn't have the work rate. So all these things is going against these Jadon Sancho right now. So might be on a different club, under different manager, he can perform again to his best. But
Yeah,
right now,
well,
he's absolutely overrated.
I have no idea what sort of Swiss Alps training he did when he went, MIA for those couple of months earlier this season. I don't see much difference between the old Sancho and the new one. There's barely any difference. So I don't know what sort of training he did.
Can I just add something? I think it's very harsh on to like football. We fans like just keep on changing opinions. If he was like playing good, you were like everyone will be like, oh, okay, Sancho is doing good. But I think like it's a new manager. Everything United is not perfect. Let's just get it out there. It's not perfect at United. It's still a very United are getting third just because the other teams are not good enough. I feel they're no way close to Arsenal this season. They're no way close to City this season. So maybe for Sancho to function well, you need to be in a City or even an Arsenal this season. That good of a team, then he would have probably
Mhm.
played better. So that's my opinion. I
That
don't think he's
was
a bad player.
No, I
that's
don't think
that's
so. I don't think so.
neither do I. Neither do I.
You see,
He's never playing
you
over
see,
Martinelli. He's never
you
playing
see
over Smith Rowe.
Whether Arsenal or Manchester City. I think both these teams, as well as United too, I
No,
feel
he
at
doesn't need
certain
to
extent.
play. He doesn't need. He
Uh,
could be a like even Jack Grealish wasn't playing for City when he came.
But we've seen his ability at Aston Villa.
no,
We have
you
seen
see,
Sancho's ability as well. He's not a bad player.
You have to give him some time. I think
Yeah,
the
exactly.
problem with Sancho is there's definitely some personal issues. Nobody knows what that is, and it's been, I don't know if it's like psychological or something else. That's why he was not there for 3 months. Uh, and you also have to understand it's not Sancho's fault that he was bought for 70 million and he's paid 300 grand. And he's like what, 23, right?
Yeah, he's so
So
young.
I don't know how it affects mentally for these footballers, and not all footballers are made of nerves of steel. So got to give him time. It's a new manager as well. I would say that he's going to a point where he needs to perform on the pitch because this is his second season. It might be a new
How
manager,
long
but
did how long did Werner have at his time in Chelsea? 2 seasons
One
or?
1.5 years, yeah, one and a half
1.5
years.
years,
So
3 years.
maybe we can give him the next season and then judge. I think that would be
Yeah.
fair.
But I
Mhm.
do agree with Pravasi in the way that he doesn't have that work rate. The certain style that Eric Ten Hag wants to follow is like you have to track back, you have to put in 100%. You can see
Look at
Anthony.
Anthony. Yeah,
Anthony has
Anthony.
changed.
Yeah,
He's tracking
yeah,
back. He's helping
absolutely.
out. Sancho does not do that. Rashford doesn't do that. Now I know you cannot take Rashford out because he's the guy who's been
He's
scoring the
performing.
goals.
He's performing at his level best. So
Scoring the
that's the
goals. I
reason.
mean, he
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be shit for the whole 89 minutes and then score a goal. So
That's
that's
true.
his mo. So yeah, I think give him some time. Let's see what happens next season. As long as the
Okay,
Glazers go out, we're good.
but you do need to buy a forward.
Yeah.
And the two heaviest links that you guys have is that with Harry Kane and Victor Osimhen. I want to ask iToonmag because I think any big name that's going to be heading over to the Premier League, Newcastle is going to have a say on it. Do you see Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen choosing Manchester United?
I believe if you give me the options between Kane and Osimhen, I would say Kane any day in Manchester United. Kane is a proven player in Premier League.
Oh yeah,
No
he is.
matter, I mean, no matter what sort of style you play, he's gonna score. Be attacking, counter attacking, defensive, he's gonna get the ball. He's gonna score. There's
Mhm.
hands down in 1 point. Osimhen is a talent who played in Serie League, come in Premier League. If he doesn't perform well, again Manchester United will be in the same position. They will be living with no attacker.
Right.
So, given circumstances, if you ask me, I would always prefer Kane. I mean, Manchester both should choose Kane over Osimhen. Maybe couple of season more next we can. I mean, they can bring Osimhen, make him a second striker, put him more. I mean,
Means you going to buy him again?
transitional basis.
You going to buy him?
Sorry,
Buy him? Osimhen?
I don't know. I
Sorry.
mean, I'm not sure where Osimhen will be heading, but yeah, I mean, Bayern also after
They need
I
a
think
Lewandowski
it's
striker.
left,
Bayern Munich.
they need
I think
a number 9.
Bayern Munich are heavily linked with Osimhen.
No,
Yeah,
no. I think it's PSG. PSG are. I think there was this rumor that
PSG
I.
won Harry Kane.
Yeah,
No, no.
PSG
PSG
was
won
Harry.
Osimhen. Harry Kane will never go to like any foreign
So
club other
so many
than.
big clubs are looking for a striker, and I think we need a striker too.
Yeah.
I think so too. But
No,
But do you
Bayern
think
is heavily
Gabriel Jesus won't cut it?
looking for a striker. You
I
see,
think
their
Gabriel is.
management day in and day out is leaking to the press that they are looking for a striker right now, and they will go
PSG
for
need another
Osimhen.
striker.
You see,
Wow.
Yeah, well, strikers needed at Arsenal, Bayern Munich, uh, Tottenham if Harry Kane leaves, um, Chelsea, Manchester United, and PSG. So there's a lot of suitors for these two players for sure. Uh, Hoping that they leave. If that happens, there's going to be a lot of suitors. Saul, who would you like, and who do you think is the likely incoming striker at Manchester United? Or if you have a different name that we haven't mentioned here.
Yeah, so I think it may well be Harry Kane. Uh, like just looking at how everything is shaping up. But personally, I would actually want anybody other than Harry Kane. We already cannot deal with one Harry in the club. Uh, English Harry, Captain Harry.
What's his
We
age, by the way?
He's 30.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty late now.
Yeah,
and also like
his prime.
British. He's a British player. He plays in England. we don't want that kind of an attention
I
from
have
a
attention.
press. We already cannot handle Maguire, and there was Ronaldo, and there were so many other things. We don't want any of that. And again, like Harry Kane at 30, I'm not really sure. You're going to end up spending 100 million anyways. Why not spend like 20, 30 more to get an Osimhen or a Ferguson or maybe Hoyland or something like that, right? There's so many players out there.
But
And my
Ferguson is
point
not going to cost 100 million. It's not.
yeah, but you can get two out of them, right?
You
can
can't
get,
trust by Brighton management, right? Brighton will ask for that money.
No,
What
they're
happened
not
to
going
that
to.
striker? That one kid from Salzburg. I forgot his name. He was linked to. Yeah, he was linked to United a lot.
Patrick
Hoyland?
No, that's
No.
Leverkusen. But either way, who would you want, Saul?
Osimhen out of these two, 100%. Because I think, again, the age, the longevity to work with Eric Ten Hag.
Sesko, right? Benjamin Sesko.
Sesko.
To
Oh
be
yeah, he
a-
was heavily linked with United before. Yeah.
Yes.
to be a part of a team that is growing, alongside the new manager and the coaching team. So I would definitely go for someone like Osimhen than Kane, because Kane, it can be a hit or a miss, and you don't want to spend 100 million.
It cannot be a hit or a miss. That guy
Yeah,
is
it can
I
be.
think
I believe Osimhen could be a hit or miss. Not Kane.
exactly.
No,
How-
not really.
He will be a hit, but we don't know how long he'll be a hit. Maybe
So
for 2 seasons.
that's the thing, right? I mean, so look at Arsenal. Arsenal got lucky this season to be in the top of the league, where City were not firing in all cylinders, and Liverpool were not in form, and Chelsea
that's
were not in
that's
form.
that's truly a lie. Look at the points that
Arsenal,
City is projecting to get. How do you say they're off form? Do the calculation. If they win the rest of their 7-8 games, what would be their score?
Like
Why don't you
94,
tell me?
95,
94, I think. 94.
94,
So then-
95.
Yeah. So then, how do you say that they've been off the pace? That's crazy numbers.
No, but the way they had started, if you look at the first half of the season compared to now, they've certainly picked it up, right? That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot continuously do that every season. You can't. Even City will, at one fine season, they will not be able to like put it up, right?
Of course.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So Harry Kane, you're gonna get Harry Kane for what, like one season to couple of seasons max?
Yeah, that's the
Why?
thing.
He can easily give you 5 to 6 seasons.
Absolutely not.
No.
You want
Then as
to
pace will
spend
drop,
30
he's not.
pace will
like-
drop.
He
He's
can give you
already
at
being
least 3
injured.
seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
exactly.
injuries are a problem also. Yes.
Lewandowski has played at the top of his game till the age of 35, 36. He's still playing. So what
And
makes
so
you think
does- So does Benzema.
Yeah, so does Benzema as well.
But
What makes
so
you
does
think
Cristiano
records are
Ronaldo.
their injury records are better than
wait.
I can
Forget
get-
Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a goat for a reason. We're not going to talk about him. But what makes you think that Harry Kane's not in the same bracket as the Lewandowskis? And
It's not about the bracket.
so then, if he then he's
Look
just
at
30
his
years
injury
old.
record. Look at his
Yeah, his
injury
injury
record.
record is good.
It's pretty good, decent. Yeah, it's pretty decent.
It's not decent, I think.
It is not decent. And the
What?
thing is, like, it's a risk, because if we buy Harry Kane, it's almost like we're buying Harry Kane to score goals. We're spending so much money to score goals, and if
Yeah,
anything goes wrong, why did you buy him? Why didn't we
It
go
won't
for
go
somebody
wrong,
else?
I feel, but you're just if Harry Kane was available for 50-60 million, I think
He
Nah, he's
won't
not.
be. And that's another thing. If we go for Harry Kane, we'll spend
This
the entire summer
No, how much
market
years are left
and
in
sign him
Harry's
on the
contract?
last day on the deadline date.
Sorry,
Because
Pravasi, you saying something?
Yeah, how many years are left in Kane's contract?
I think a
only
year.
1 year.
He's
Yeah,
gonna be.
then he isn't going for 100 or 110.
Yeah,
He will.
he will.
70,
even
70, 75.
Grealish had a same contract. I think.
He will.
Tottenham will not. Daniel Levy is not going to let him go for less than 100.
Yeah. United will.
My
Even
point-
Casemiro, I think.
Now, with
had
a 1 year in contract, you are asking for that much of money? I don't think.
Casemiro
Maybe-
also had
maybe it's 2 years.
United will
Perhaps
pay
it's
it.
2 years.
No,
United
it's
will
1
pay
year.
it.
It's 1 year.
It's
So
1 year?
that's what I'm trying to say, that, why would you spend the entire transfer market running after Harry Kane and finally getting him and losing on all the other targets that you could have got, not just in forward, but in midfield and goalkeeper, whatever you want, and, negotiate with someone like Daniel Levy and end up buying him in the last date, and that will be your signature transfer.
Your transfer
And-
budget is not 100 million. It's got to be
Yeah,
around
the Gla-
200.
Yeah, but
No,
the
if the
way
Glazers
United
don't go,
have
it's going to be 100.
Oh,
the way United handled transfers, like they handled Sancho, they just didn't buy anyone and just waited for
Exactly.
Sancho to come,
We
and he
tried to
didn't
do
come.
that with Frankie De Jong last season as well. This season as well, right?
Yes.
you did. Okay, listen, we are coming to the end of our show here, and I'm gonna thank you, our viewers.
So
Uh,
before we wrap this up, I have a one question for Jace.
yeah,
So you looking for number 9, right? What about Lacazette? He is in top scorer in French league right now.
Huh, really?
he is.
Why did you
Yeah,
sell
he
him
is.
again?
Yeah, he
He
is.
is.
Because that's because
Giroud, and Giroud scored that goal in Champions. Oh wait, he's Arsenal too. What's going on?
listen, these guys does not fit the system we play. Jesus plays the. I mean, he fits the system. The problem is, I don't think he's good enough a finisher, and I think he can be one of those forward players. Like Liverpool has a plethora of options, right?
Yeah,
He can
yeah.
definitely
You
be an
have
option.
Jonathan David. Arsenal was linked to Jonathan David before also. If
Yeah,
you have
we'll buy somebody. I hope we buy a striker. I really do. I really do. And Ketia and
Balogun
Choupo.
was also on 18 goals.
Oh, you know what? We might not even need to buy a striker. Fuller and Balogun is going to come back. Yeah. The next phenom. Well, listen, we're going to end the show here. iToonmag, thank you so much for joining us here for this lovely show. Saul, thank you as usual. Pravasi, hope to see you, sad when we meet again next. And,
Yes, yes,
and hopefully
absolutely.
we have a kick-ass game on Wednesday. And Klapai, thank you for joining as usual again. This is Jishmaester, and hope to see you guys again. Well, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this videos, and please help us out, spread the word. We want more of your involvement, and if anybody wants to join us for these talks, more than welcome, please. Well, peace out from all of you guys. Take care.